doesn't get enough credit for it. But here today, look, they need him to do certain things here. They need him to play true to the structure of this offense. Try not to be the Superman. Just make good decisions. Take what this stingy Oklahoma Sooner defense will give him and just move the football down the field.
And coming out of the huddle right here, probably about as slow as the Ole Miss offense is going to go all day.
Yeah, get a good look at it.
They start on play action, and they'll lob one to the tight end, Caden Prescore. Just like that, a first down, now to about the 43-yard line. Now, don't blink, because if you do, you might miss an Ole Miss snap.
These guys rip plays off, man. Absolutely.
They'll hand one off to Henry Parrish, and he is met behind the line and dropped for a loss of at least a yard. Kip Lewis came through and put a shoulder right into the chest of Henry Parrish.
This Oklahoma defense, if they can get you into second and third and long, one of the best pass rushing teams in all of college football, they need to tighten up their run defense, make sure they can try and make Ole Miss one-dimensional.
Dart well protected, wide open down the sideline is Daquan Wright. Another tight end hookup. He's breaking tackles to the 25.
It's a little bit of miscommunication on the part of the Oklahoma Sooners secondary, turning loose Daquan Wright in their 12 personnel package. That's 2 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, and 1 back. So we got a player down on the field.
That's Dominic Williams, the nose tackle. And the boos come down already from the crowd here, because as fast as Ole Miss goes, it's always skepticism from the crowd when they see a player go down for the opposing defense.
You see Daquan Wright running what they call a 7 route or a sail route, a little corner type of route combination. They will need these tight ends to play big in this game with Tre Harris not being a part of the passing attack today. Expect the name of Daquan Wright, Caden Prescore, who you heard earlier, to play a bigger role today.
And this offense has put up some amazing numbers so far this season. Top 10 in FBS in scoring, passing, total yards. They can rack them up as we take a look. And our keys to the game, our Goodyear road test, Lewis, and protecting the passer has been a big problem this year for OU. For Ole Miss, well, their defense wants to stop the run game if they can.
Yeah, Oklahoma last week, 13 TFLs allowed, 9 sacks allowed against South Carolina. 2 sacks today. That has to be the goal, and they have to win the turnover battle. When they win the turnover battle, they're 4-0. When they lose it, they're 0-3 this year. It's as simple as that. For Ole Miss, improved red zone efficiency. They're right now at the high red zone area. They need to go ahead and get 6 instead of 3. And then allow under 70 yards rushing. This team will shut you down in the run game. They have one of the best front sevens in all of college football. They're at full strength today. They got to make sure that for Jackson Arnold, when he gets his chance on the field, he has to put it in the air.
Oklahoma's defense has sacked the quarterback 25 times this season. That's top 4 in the country. The problem is their offense oftentimes gives up more sacks than their defense creates. They had 6 sacks last week in their loss to South Carolina, but their offense gave up 9. Jet sweep. Parrish with a stiff arm. And he picks up 3. Flag out. Billy Bowman Jr., who you love at the strong safety spot. It looks like going to be called. Cost them 15.
On the defense, number 2. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
Those are the kind of things you just can't afford if you're Oklahoma. Billy Bowman makes a good play in terms of the angle he takes to the ball carrier. You see the right hand just get wrapped around the face mask. He's got to make clean tackles. Be sure and sound with your fundamentals. You cannot give this team any extra yardage. But now here they are inside the red zone.
And now they're going to line up Wildcat. Jackson Dart lines up as a receiver, and Parrish takes the direct snap and picks up a couple of yards. So it's going to be 2nd down and 8 from the 9.
This is where ideally always offensively you want to be able to run the football because of how tight throwing windows are here. And without Tre Harris, who's one of the best jump ball winners in college football, makes play calling for Charlie Weiss Jr., the offensive coordinator, all the more important.
push. Breaking tackles at the 5. Gets a push into the end zone for an Ole Miss touchdown.
Just a really nice job front side of tight end Daquan Wright. Diego Pounds caving in the left side of the Oklahoma defensive line. And then Henry Parrish making a nice cut, keeping his legs moving, running with vision and good pad level. That's ideally what you want. Run the football in the red zone. Tell your offensive line to come off the ball, reset the line of scrimmage. That's just good, fundamentally sound football on the part of Ole Miss.
A 6-play, 75-yard touchdown drive inside this stadium. That's how amped they were for the Oklahoma trip to Vaught Hemingway. Franklin somersaults down to the 25-yard line. So now we'll see if an answer comes for OU. And it has been a back-and-forth story at quarterback. Jackson Arnold starts the first 4 games, benched for Michael Hawkins against Tennessee. He would start the next 3 games, but 3 consecutive turnovers to begin what would be a blowout against South Carolina. He was replaced by Jackson Arnold last week. Arnold now gets the start again today as he regains the job. And he takes on Ole Miss as the starting quarterback with a very banged-up receiver core, and Javante Barnes a tailback to his left, but he can run it. And he will dive ahead for a gain of 9 yards on the game's first snap for OU.
Well, that's a nice job for a new offensive coordinator, Joe John Finley, to get Jackson Arnold involved immediately.
And they go hurry up, man. He gets sandwiched. Nowhere to go with the football, but a flag comes out. Jared Ivey right in his face. Sontaran Perkins there on the pass rush as well.
If you're Jackson Arnold, it's important that you get this ball out of your hands with this revamped offensive line that once again starts another combination of 5 up front that has really struggled to gain any kind of continuity or consistency in terms of performance. You cannot hold the football against this front.
Personal foul, roughing the passer on the defense. Number 5. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down. There is no intentional grounding. The passer was outside the tackle box, and the ball made it beyond the line of scrimmage.
So they actually,
the foul for roughing the passer is on number 15.
Ivey lassoing around the neck. Jackson Arnold is called roughing the passer. No targeting on the play. But a 15-yard penalty moves Oklahoma out close to midfield. So each team guilty of a defensive 15-yard foul on the opposing's offense's opening drive. Barnes, a little jump cut. He's across midfield. He picks up 5 yards. And boy, Lewis, how important will the run game be for Oklahoma today?
And when you have a bunch of new starters and you have people who've been moved around, settling in this offensive line by running the football is exactly what you want to do.
Arnold, a swing pass, wide open. Bauer Sharp, the tight end, catch and run down the sideline inside the 30-yard line, and a little rhythm here to start the game for OU on offense.
You see the offense for OU running at a nice, crisp clip, getting in and out of the huddle quickly, actually not even huddling up here. And right now you see Ole Miss is a little bit out of sorts in terms of their rotations, their communication.
Very late running Xavier Harris in at tackle, but being allowed to substitute as J.J. Pegues can head off the field because Oklahoma substituted. Ole Miss allowed to do the same. They'll run it again with Barnes. And he goes nowhere. Hit behind the line, lost at least a couple of yards. And Harris, who was the new addition to the Ole Miss defensive line for that snap, gets the tackle for loss.
Xavier Harris is just a massive man at 6'7", 320 pounds. You will see him make disruptive plays along with J.J. Pegues, Walter Nolan. These guys, they can get after it. Once they settle in here and kind of get a feel for how Oklahoma is going to want to attack here now that they have a new play caller, I think you will see them ramp it up front. But right now, Oklahoma has got Ole Miss on their heels.
Out of the pocket. Arnold on the move. Turns the corner and gets banged out of bounds at about the 20-yard line. John Saunders Jr. tracked him there, 3 yards shy of a first down. So it's going to be third down and a long two close to 3. They're right back at the line. They want to quick snap it, but the officials jump in and don't let them snap the ball. I'm not sure that Oklahoma
The officials did
substituted.
not stop the play for the substitution process. It will be third down.
I guess Oklahoma did substitute quickly, and that gives again Ole Miss the right to substitute, right, Lewis? So
Sure does. And, you know, look, I love this tactic by Oklahoma as far as increasing the pace and the tempo. Obviously, they've given Jackson Arnold clear direction. Look, if it's not there, if your first read isn't there, take off and run it. Use your legs, use your athleticism. He looks much more sure early on in this game as far as what he's trying to get done.
play clock at 5, as now the officials allow them to snap it. Play action here for Arnold. Rolling, he's got room to run. He'll pick up the first down and more. Inside the 10-yard line before he slides down. They'll say he began his slide at the 11. So it's 1st and 10 at the 11 for Oklahoma.
Here you see number 51, Xavier Harris on the outside. You cannot get caught inside against the quarterback as athletic as Jackson Arnold. Rush lanes are important with this young man. He's already shown you that he is not going to sit back there in the pocket and just be an iron deer, so to speak, and allow you to tee off on him. He's going to take off, use his legs, use his athleticism. So you're going to have to rush with some lane discipline if you're Ole Miss.
Full house backfield. Little zone read. And Barnes submarines to about the 8-yard line for 3. Again, this is an Oklahoma offense that is not in the top 100 in basically any significant offensive category.
You could just hear the pain and anguish in head coach Brent Venables' voice when he talked about having to make a move to really provide this offense with a spark. And you see it there on your screen. I mean, those rankings just simply weren't acceptable to him, and he knew he had to do something in order to try and inject some life into this offense. And so far, so good.
They run it again inside the 5-yard line. Hammering is Taylor Tatum, the true freshman. Down to about the 4, close to the 3. Again, they can pick up a first down inside the 1.
This good old-fashioned power, getting double teams at the point of attack with a puller.
They run it again with Tatum. Hurry up. He gets thrown back, and now a decision to make. It was 3rd down and short, and now it'll be 4th down and about 1. Walter Nolan wrapped him up. 4th down and 1 at the 2.
I like the aggressiveness here of Brent Venables and Oklahoma Sooners. As you see the new play caller, Joe John Finley. Look, his offensive linesman coming off the ball with some authority. And Jackson Arnold, again, the confidence that this young man is showing right now. When we talked to him, he said, look, I got to go out there and cut it loose. Play free.
He fakes a run, throws a slant into the end zone, low throw, incomplete. He tried to hit Brennan Thompson on the slant, and it's a turnover on downs at the 2-yard line for Oklahoma.
See him trying to hit Brennan Thompson. You're going to see him on the right side of your screen coming here on a little bit of a slant. Nice play on the part of Jaden Kennedy for Ole Miss.
You want to take it back, Lou?
I got it.
7-0 Ole Miss. A near miss, though, Lewis, at the goal line for Oklahoma on 4th down.
Yeah, Jackson Arnold here. You're going to see him just kind of ride this in here. And he's going to try and hit Brennan Thompson on the slant. But then he has Walter Nolan in his face. So he doesn't have the option now to kind of break contain and maybe get outside the pocket and make something happen. Jaden Kennedy is right there to make it an even more difficult throw. Here you see a second look at it. You see Walter Nolan getting pressure in his face. Would have loved to have seen them maybe get Jackson out on the perimeter. He's already shown you what his athletic ability is like and his ability to really pick up positive yardage with his legs. But I like the aggressiveness of Oklahoma, trying to take it to this Ole Miss defensive front, and they know that they have to score points because they've already seen what this offense can do.
position at least on their side, but now Henry Parrish Jr. gives the Ole Miss offense some breathing room. Kenai Walker trips him up, but he's out to the 8-yard line. Henry Parrish Jr., his second go-round at Ole Miss. Began his career in Oxford, transferred to Miami, and now decided to come back as a senior and finish out with the Rebels. Here he is again. Just across the 10. So here's a chance for Oklahoma to get a third down stop and a 3-and-out and maintain field position and give the ball back to their offense.
This is where Oklahoma is at its best now. When they can get you in third down, start changing the look, start disguising, turn the pass rushers loose. This is where defensive coordinator Zach Alley says they have to be at their very best. Good communication, and the front four have to get pressure.
Play action, dart, swing pass. He floats one to Daquan Wright, incomplete. So here comes the punt group for Ole Miss, as the defense does get the 3-and-out for the Sooners.
Jackson Dart had Daquan Wright open, and he just drops it. He had already out-leveraged safety Billy Bowman. He was going to be able to pick up the first down. Oklahoma, in essence, busted that coverage, and we're about to give up a first, but they get off the field here now and get another crack at it.
Frazier was in. Wobbly kick. Peyton Bowen lets it bounce, fields it on a hop, and tiptoes out close to the 40-yard line before he goes out of bounds. Pretty good field position for the Sooners, down 7. That play's going to be coming apart at the seams. Indiana continues to play the way they have. One of the best stories this year so far in college football, and Ole Miss with a 7-0 lead against Jackson Arnold, who has regained the starting quarterback position for Oklahoma here in Oxford. Back to the offense. They drove it all the way down to the 2-yard line and stalled. An incompletion on first down, as he can't hook up with Brennan Thompson. And the injury carousel that this group has had at wide receiver that began in camp and continues all the way through the season, just been brutal, Lewis.
Yeah, I mean, just look at those players that are out. Nick Anderson, big, tall, long outside lane receiver. They're missing him. Jaleel Farouk. Deion Burks, they were hoping to maybe get back today. He's not able to go. Didn't even make the trip. I mean, they are really operating with one arm, maybe two arms tied behind their back.
Quarterback run for about 4 yards.
But Bob, I like what they're doing as far as the way they're utilizing Jackson Arnold. And with the new offensive coordinator, Joe John Finley, he said, look, I'm just trying to make this young man comfortable, really take some of his input. What does he like? What doesn't he like? So we can just cut him loose and let him play free. And I think part of that is quarterback run here today. Now, here on third down.
3rd down and 6. Trying to take advantage of the good field position. Right at the first down line again, leaning forward. It looks like forward progress. Yes, without measurement, it will be a first down, and it's Bauer Sharp, the tight end, that just got the ball to the midfield stripe.
Good, decisive throw from Jackson Arnold. Just what you're looking for.
No substitutions. Javante Barnes spins, flag down.
Holding on the offense, number 76. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, first down.
Let's head down to Chris.
Bob, to Lewis's point, when you have that much turnover up front, the injuries to the wide receivers, you got to do what you're comfortable with. So Jackson Arnold, Joe John Finley met on Tuesday this week. They went through the playbook. What are you most comfortable with? What should we take out? They kind of pared it down, simplified it, doing what he's best and what makes him most confident.
The quick passing game. That's what's making him feel confident here today. When he's decisive and the ball comes out quickly, he's an accurate thrower.
Middle screen. Again, it's Bauer Sharp. And he picks up 7 before forward progress is stopped. Well, again, the quick passing game also helps take some heat, I would think, Lewis, off of an offensive line that has their 7th different starting combination in 8 games today for Oklahoma.
Yeah, it's almost impossible to overcome, along with all the injuries they've had at wide receiver. You just have to really manufacture offense, and the way you do it is without putting the ball in harm's way. That's the quick passing game, the screen game, quarterback run game. That's how they're going to have to survive today.
Only a 3-man rush. So all day to throw, and it's an underneath ball for about 5 yards yards to Javante Barnes. So that will make it 3rd down and manageable. TJ Daugherty was there to put the shoulder to Barnes, but they're back across midfield facing 3rd down and 6.
Here again is where I would not want to leave Jackson Arnold in the pocket. I'd want to get him out in space on the edge. You see they got Taylor Tatum, their young freshman running back in the game, who's a fantastic receiver.
A rollout for Arnold. And as he throws, lobs one down the sideline, jump ball incomplete. Flag down. Was Arnold grabbed by Chris Paul around the horse collar? That's in the neighborhood where the flag was thrown. Let's see.
Personal foul, horse collar tackle, number 11 on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous slot, automatic first down.
So another personal foul, the second already called against the Ole Miss defense. A free first down for OU.
Yeah, you see Chris Paul, he was coming on the blitz. As again, a nice job by Joe John Finley of getting the quarterback outside the pocket, and they're trying to chase him down. You just got to play smarter than that. You're probably going to get off the field, get your offense back on the field. Now you give Oklahoma life, and that's exactly what Oklahoma wants. They want hope, and they're getting it now, moving the football.
A reverse, breaking a tackle, Brennan Thompson. He wants to throw it down the sideline, and jump ball incomplete. He tried to get it to Zion Reagan's a true freshman receiver. Now a flag down on the far side of the field.
Personal foul, face mask, number 38 on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
So that's J.J. Pegues, another personal foul against the Ole Miss D.
Yeah, you just cannot self-destruct on the part of Ole Miss. You just got to be more disciplined. You see J.J. trying to reach out and get Brennan Thompson on the ground on that reverse pass. Look, some of those things happen in the heat of battle when you're really just fighting and clawing and trying to get stops. But you just got to play smart. You cannot give this offense life. You got to keep it down if you're Ole Miss defense.
Play action. Arnold wants the wheel route for Tatum at the pylon. Intercepted, but out of bounds. It was read perfectly by a guy you think might end up being a first-day draft choice in Trey Amos, but he couldn't land in bounds.
He does a nice job of just providing help on that wheel route. That wasn't even his initial coverage responsibility. He just does a nice job of reading out the route combination. Trey Amos is very, very good. I mean, this is a guy who's 6'1", 190 pounds, and defensive coordinator Pete Golden said he may be one of the best he's ever been around since Pat Surtain at Alabama.
2nd and 10 in the red zone. Direct snap to Tatum. So they fake the snap to the quarterback, all of a sudden jump into a wildcat look. And Tatum picks up 5. So here's a big play. A 3rd down in the red zone. As we're inside of 3 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Again, Oklahoma got the ball on their first drive all the way down to the 2-yard line and turned it over on downs.
This is really good creative play calling on the part of Oklahoma. They're pulling out all the stops, all different types of ball handling, getting the quarterback outside the pocket, quarterback runs. They're giving Ole Miss a lot to think about in terms of where their eyes are at and playing fundamentally sound defense.
Jacob Jordan in motion. Arnold out of the pocket. Arnold lobs it back in the end zone. Wide open is the tight end, Bauer Sharp. Toe taps. Touchdown.
What a nice job by Bauer Sharp. You're going to see he's just going to release vertically down the field and really get a good, strong push off really at the point of attack in order to gain some separation and then come across the back of the end zone. And at 6'4", 243, provides a big, long, tall, big catch radius target for Jackson Arnold. You can't ask for a better start for Oklahoma's offense right now. They are moving the football, creative play calling, quarterback gaining confidence.
Helped out by 2 personal fouls. Jumping in the neutral zone and making contact, Ole Miss.
Offside on the defense. Player over the right guard. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. Replay the try.
Now you put the ball at the 1.5-yard line. Do you still try the 1? Or now are you close enough to the goal line that you put your offense back out there and try and grab another point?
For the defensive offside is declined.
So they're going to decline the penalty. Sometimes teams will take that 1.5 yards and say, you know what, we're close enough to the goal line. Let's run a 2-point play.
I think if you're Brent Venables, you could not be happier with the way this is all starting off for him and his offense.
We are tied at 7.
And you just watch Bauer Sharp here. You're going to see him release and then just work across the back of the end zone, and just watch how physical he is as he makes his break. Here, maybe could have even been called for a push-off, but then he is dropped in coverage. The pass rush isn't there. Jackson Arnold able to survey the field, work up into the pocket to his left, and then just loft the floater in the back of the end zone. And you're seeing this young man play with much more confidence. Just look at him work right to left, 2 hands on the football, just work up in the pocket nice and comfortably. Bauer Sharp having the awareness to make sure he gets a foot in bounds. Jackson Arnold, look, he told us when we talked to him that he felt confident. He felt that him getting this second chance now, he was going to let it rip. He had great communication with new OC Joe Jon Finley, and you're seeing it, Bob. You're seeing it pay off, and just his body language looks totally different than it did earlier in the season.
Fair catch called for on the kick return. Hey, Jackson Arnold said those 3 weeks or so, the 3 longest weeks of my football life when I got benched, but it looks like he put in some good work to get ready for today as we bring you your weekend lineup, brought to you by Wendy's Saucy Nugs. You said Alabama might be in some legit trouble. We're going to find out at 3:30. SEC on ABC when they take on Mizzou. And then the 2 teams that are undefeated in conference play, LSU and Texas A&M, in our primetime game later on tonight. Rivalry game between FSU and Miami tonight on ESPN as well. A rivalry game, Kansas and K-State. And will Vanderbilt do it again? I'm going to carry the goalposts down Broadway again in Nashville. They take on Texas. Here's Ulysses Bentley up the middle to try to get this drive started as Kip Lewis makes the stop for Oklahoma. Jackson Dart, jump ball, incomplete for Preschool. Oh, it's going to be 3rd down and 7 right after the Oklahoma touchdown.
You see, this is going to be the point in time where they're going to miss Trey Harris in these kind of situations. Although most defenses wouldn't leave him one-on-one, that would be the person that right now Jackson Dart would be looking to in crucial 3rd downs, backed up. The defense is just giving up a touchdown, and you need to answer. Now he's got to find out who else can he count on. Who's it going to be today in the passing game in particular? Keep an eye on number 11, Jordan Watkins. He needs to have a big game and take over some of the things that Trey Harris did.
Dart with a check down. Trying to squeeze his way for the 1st down, Preschool, and it looks like he got it. Just enough. Samuel Wasigo made the stop. And now we have an Oklahoma injury.
You can see Lane Kiffin walking out on the field, talking to the referees. This is something that's going to continue to be heavily discussed in college football.
You want to know why the crowd's booing?
Yeah.
It's when you see something like this that makes you skeptical.
Yeah, just keep an eye on Grayson Hilton right here, number 56. He's walking, he looks to the sideline. You see they're trying to get instructions from the sideline as far as personnel substitutions, and all of a sudden, looks like we have a cramp. And we hit the ground. Those are the kind of things, and you never want to speculate. Look, I mean, I understand sometimes it is what it is when you look at it, you see it with your own eyes. But this is the kind of thing that right now you see Lane Kiffin out on the field talking about it. They're going to have to get their arms around as far as.
How do you get your arms around it, though? How do you crawl inside of a player's mind and body and say,
yeah, I mean,
no, you don't have a cramp.
Right.
We know you don't have a cramp. We're going to penalize you. Maybe he has a cramp.
Right.
Right? It's impossible to say.
Yeah, it's something that's going to take some brainstorming here. As you see.
Let's go down to Chris.
Yeah, Bob, while you're talking about solutions, Ole Miss was criticized for doing the same thing a couple weeks ago, and they actually had to provide information to the SEC league office about certain penalties.
An additional delay.
You got a little visitor on the field.
Yeah, we have a squirrel at the 17-yard line.
Oh, man.
And now we get a Geneva Convention to try and figure out how do we get the squirrel off the field. Squirrel might score a touchdown. Oh, yeah. Touchdown. I love the guy who's pointing to the squirrel as if the squirrel then knows the directions. Oh, this is where I go.
Like where?
There, the door's over here. Ah, thank you for showing me. And the squirrel's up the alley and out the door. All right.
College football, baby.
We have a player with a cramp. We have a squirrel delay. And now we've got an Ole Miss first down. Play action for Jackson Dart. Sidearms one over the middle, incomplete. He threw it behind Juice Wells. It'll be second down and 10.
Jackson Dart took a big hit in the pocket from Dominic Williams. But this pass rusher Oklahoma is no joke either. Jackson Dart's going to have to be very careful as far as getting the ball out of his hand on times as well and being efficient.
Steps up, and there's the check down, but it's thrown behind Ulysses Bentley as the pocket was collapsing. That's an incompletion. Now it's going to be third down and 10.
Again, this Oklahoma pass rush, fourth in college football in sack percentage this year so far in FBS. They can get after you in multiple ways.
And they bring a five-man rush here. Dart floats one incomplete for Caden Lee. So in a 7-7 tie, Ole Miss is going to have to punt it away again. They're out of rhythm. Again, they're without Trey Harris, their leading receiver by far. So that's impacting their passing game.
Caden Lee just running the deep over. Jackson can't really step into it and throw. Sails it a little bit high, but that pass rush for Oklahoma is starting to play a role. They can get you in the third down just like Ole Miss. They can make life difficult for your quarterback.
Peyton Bowen takes a big hit at the 21-yard line. Flag out.
Man.
Chris Graves Jr. is being congratulated on the sideline, but the flag came out right after the hit. We've got another flag back at the line of scrimmage as well. So two separate penalty flags have been thrown.
Like, I think they're going to really take a look at where this shot that Chris Graves delivered, where it landed. It's high up on the shoulders, in the head. Exactly. As you see the officials there signaling the penalty. You see him coming down. You see it right there. That's right on the head and neck area. You've got to lower your target and your aiming point.
Peyton Bowen receiving the punt. And Bill Lamagna, who is our officiating expert, helping us out today. And Bill, when does Peyton Bowen go from defenseless player to a runner? Because obviously they're calling targeting here, which is contact to the head and neck area of a defenseless player.
There are 2 fouls on the play, 1 on each team. Holding on the defense, number 7. Personal foul, targeting on the kicking team, number 32. Those penalties offset. A replay, 4th down. The previous play,
I'd put him still in a defenseless category. He hasn't had a chance to really put the ball away and take off on his run. So he's still defenseless.
Got it. So the penalties will offset, but now they have to check to see if this is indeed held up as targeting, because if it is, then Chris Graves is kicked out of the game.
Yeah, he came in with that left arm. Really lays a blow in there.
Yeah. I think, you know, just how violent the play looks with the way he swings the left arm, trying to put more emphasis on the hit. And look, I get it. I've been in that position as someone who's had a free run on a punt returner. And in today's game, you're just going to have to lower your aiming point and stay away from the head and neck area, because otherwise, I mean, this is going to be a flag every single time. The returner has clearly just caught the ball. He's still in a defenseless posture. You're just going to have to be smarter about that and kind of like tame down your aggression to some degree. Otherwise, you're going to cost your team.
Well, it won't cost them the 15 yards because the holding penalty going the other way will negate. But here is the official review. But, Bill, that's an interesting decision there. They pick up the targeting foul, and they, I guess, said that that is not a defenseless player at that point.
Probably, to me, the reason they pick it up is because there was no indicator. He didn't launch. He didn't, you know, he didn't do one of the key things to create the targeting situation. Was the hit violent? No question about it.
I mean, does he have to launch, though? I mean, that looks like that's a pure judgment call.
So there it is. And by picking up the targeting foul, Javante Barnes up the middle for 5 yards. The holding penalty is then enforced, and that means that Oklahoma has to start this drive all the way back at their own 10-yard line. Trey Amos comes up and makes the stop for Ole Miss. 2nd down and 5.
Second in manageable situations, third in manageable situations. This is exactly where Oklahoma wants to be. Good positive yardage on 1st down. Now you have the whole playbook at your disposal.
Run it again. 3 more yards. Makes it 3rd down and 2.
And what you really like is like.
That's the end of the first quarter.
And that takes us to the end of the first quarter. Tied at 7, so a big 3rd down for OU, and we start the second.
Hey, get your head in the game, son. The scout from football college is up in the stands.
Maybe you'd rather go to school for insurance.
I didn't raise no insurance, man.
But you did, Dad. Football's your passion, but mine is providing around-the-clock protection to progressive customers who bundle home and auto.
Jamie, we need you out here for football.
You're giving up on your dream, James.
No, Dad. I'm giving up on yours.
Oh, James, wait! Oh, that's not the exit.
Football player. Reed Coleman brought him down.
With these Oklahoma running backs between Javante Barnes and Taylor Tatum, they're going to have to lean on them today. And Barnes goes 6 foot, 207 pounds, and he is a downhill slasher that you better wrap him up. Because if he can get onto the second level, him and Tatum, these guys can rip you for big, big runs. And you just got to like the confidence that they're running with offensively behind this revamped offensive line.
3-man rush. Arnold extends the play. There he goes. Slides. Now close to the 28-yard line. As Isaiah Hamilton forced him into the slide.
Exactly what you want to see from Jackson Arnold. You see him move through 2 or 3 progressions and then pull the ball down and run. No hesitation, gaining confidence.
And on Huntley, pecking his way up the middle and breaking some tackles as Barnes. Out to the 40-yard line, another OU first down. He's got 13 more. And now we've got a lineman down. That's Jacob Sexton. This is not an injury that Oklahoma can afford. Jacob Sexton has started 3 games at left tackle, 4 games at left guard. He kicks back out to left tackle today. As they mix and match on the offensive line again, it has been a carousel for Oklahoma. Jacob Sexton was rolled up on, and he walked off the field very slowly. So we'll check on his progress. Oklahoma has a first down, but Chris Button is on the sideline with a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, the man that was just inducted into the Ring of Honor. You've had so many accolades in your career, the Hall of Famer, 5-time Pro Bowler, but this is where it started. What has this school program meant to you?
It meant Ole Miss means a lot to me. They mean so much to me because at a time when I thought if it had been up to me, I'd have went to another school when I first started the whole process. But the school I wanted to go to didn't want me. And out of nowhere, Ole Miss came out of nowhere, showed me love, stood behind me, believed in me, gave me the opportunity, and I was glad I was able to come here and do something with it.
The highest honor being inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame this past August. Take me through getting the knock to then the speech wearing the gold jacket and what that meant.
Yeah, it was a surreal moment. I mean, I was there at home in Tennessee, putting up a basketball hoop for my nieces who actually happened to be here today. And I knew a package was supposed to arrive for me. My agent told me, hey, only you can sign for this package. So when I got the knock, went outside and saw it was truly a package only I could sign for. So
all of these guys on this field dream of being what you have accomplished. What would be your piece of advice to them?
Really just stay faithful, fight the good fight. And, you know, I can't say that anything is absolutely guaranteed, but you put forth the effort and give it all you got, anything is possible. So just keep the faith, believe in God, and many things can happen for you.
I appreciate the time. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Guys.
That Ole Miss defense gets a stop. Princely Amanmielen keys it with a sack. But, Lewis, that is the definition of an all-time great. That is a guy who deserves to be up in any place's Ring of Honor.
Yeah, whatever the highest accolades you can go ahead and bestow upon a person, just put them on Patrick Willis for what he's overcome and what he has become and what he continues to strive to be. I mean, he is a shining example for every young college football player and professional football player.
So Oklahoma will try and pin Ole Miss deep. Losing the football, getting hit was Micah Davis. It pops out. Who's got it? Oklahoma may. Although Ole Miss is pointing that it's their football. A 50-50 pile up inside the 15-yard line. And Ole Miss, it looks like, has it back. And they do. And it's Chris Graves who stays in the game because they lifted the targeting penalty earlier when he was on punt coverage.
You see Micah Davis, he's anticipating getting hit, and you see him start drifting to his left, and he doesn't square up on the football. They got lucky there.
I'm doing my best. How can I feel my...
ESPN College Football, presented by Tyson Brand, is brought to you by Burger King, You Rule, and Royal Caribbean. Come see.
The Grove might be 10 acres here in Oxford, but they probably set a Guinness record every week for how many college football fans you can fit into a 10-acre plot of land. All right, the All-State Playoff Predictor. These are all the teams that are realistically in it to get to the 12-team playoff in the SEC. There's Ole Miss. They might be towards the bottom of this list, but if they were to win out, they would go from 21% to 77%. They have to win this game today to begin that win-out run, a yard and a half. And, Lewis, they are favored at least slightly, predicted to win every game the rest of the way, including a home game against Georgia 3 games from now. Jackson Dart goes back to work. Second down and long. Play action. Swing pass out to the edge. Jordan Watkins on a down and out to the 20-yard line. So this thing has a long way to go in the SEC before it shakes out. Talking to Lane Kiffin yesterday, he said some teams at the end of this thing are going to be angry.
Yeah, they are. Because look, this is a heck of a conference. We all know that about the SEC, and someone's going to get left out. But the gauntlet that these teams have to run to even have a chance at winning, it's unprecedented.
Dart up the seam in stride. All the way out close to midfield is Caden Lee. Well, there's the first big hook up to a wide receiver, 28 yards on the catch and run for Caden Lee. Out to the Ole Miss 48-yard line.
That's just a nice rhythmic throw on the part of Jackson Dart to Caden Lee, who runs that deep post. Puts it right on the money.
Dart, deep out. Another wide receiver hookup. This time it's Jordan Watkins again.
And that's the guy who has to show up on the outside, playing the position that typically is reserved for Trey Harris. And he just runs a beautiful route. A double move, fakes like he's going to the post, breaks it off to the outside. And again, Jackson in rhythm. Nice and balanced, quick release, puts it right on him.
Quick hitter, Juice Wells. Runs a man over. He made the freshman Eli Bowen pay the price as he picks up 5.
And that's one guy who Charlie Weiss Jr., offensive coordinator, said we need to get him some early touches. We need to get Juice Wells going in this offense. They need his playmaking ability.
Henry Parrish Jr. picks up a first down. Robert Spears Jennings made the stop. It's been a while in this first half since we have seen the Ole Miss offense look like it's been in some rhythm, but this drive has been rhythmic from their 10-yard line all the way down to the 25.
You see that this ball is just coming out of Jackson Dart's hands on time. Pass protection is holding up. Good routes on the outside. Now in this high red zone area at the plus 24. You see Jackson slowing it down.
Direct snap. So they go Wildcat. And Henry Parrish weaves into the red zone.
As fast as this offense goes, you don't want to be lulled to sleep in thinking that this is just a high-volume passing attack that doesn't try to play the physical run game. They run powers, counters, duos up the middle, inside zones. They do all the things that typical bully type of football teams that like to run the football want to try and do.
They run it again. Jump cut for Bentley. About a yard short of a first down. It'll be 3rd down and 1. Woody Washington tripped him up.
Ole Miss has made some changes along their offensive line as well. On the right side of their offensive line, want more production out of that unit.
Nothing up the middle. Now it's going to be 4th down. Bentley was shoved back. Kobe McKenzie, part of that pile up. In the middle of that group was Dejon Terry as well, the Tennessee transfer. Danny Stutzman haven't called his name as of yet, which is a surprise. He's top 3 in the SEC in tackles, but it's 4th down in the red zone, and staying on the field is the Ole Miss offense. They've got J.J. Pegues out there, maybe for the first time, to be that hammer looking for a nail. And he's in the backfield.
The Wildcat.
Timeout call.
Timeout. Ole Miss. They're first.
So Ole Miss will talk over this 4th down play midway through the second quarter.
Let's review. We're not going to talk about traffic or weather. If anyone brings up lawn care, I will handle it. Hosting can be extremely difficult for young homeowners turning into their parents.
Oh, are you done with this? I'll just take that.
Okay. He's still drinking.
Right. Oh, look what the cat...
Nope. Nope. Let's try again. You wouldn't mind? It gets ugly. You can either take it off or I'll take it off you. Yeah.
Progressive can't protect you from becoming your parents, but we can protect your home and auto when you bundle with us.
You loved it. Take
Doesn't
it.
want it.
That's a win for the OU defense every time you can hold that offense after a drive to only 3.
You see successful field goal attempt, part of Ole Miss, but you're absolutely right. Look, if you're Oklahoma and you came in here and you said, hey, midway point through the second quarter, it's 10-7, we're down on the road, but we're moving the football effectively, with everything that's going on for them, they would take it.
This season, Allstate will celebrate every field goal and extra point made by participating universities by making a donation to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you to Allstate. So they'll start the third quarter with the football. And they'll start this drive at their own 25-yard line after we check in with Matt.
Okay, Bob, Ohio State coming out of the bye week after the Oregon loss. We got a little history here. Jeremiah Smith, true freshman, 8th touchdown reception of the year, ties an Ohio State true freshman record with Chris Carter, 14-3 Buckeyes.
Chris Carter's the guy that all he does is catch touchdowns?
I mean, it's just unbelievable what the young wide receivers in college football are doing. Jackson Arnold saying, look, I could use one of them right now, considering all of the injuries that they've had at that position for Oklahoma this year, going all the way back to training camp and off season. But man, has he come out here with a whole different body language today.
Quarterback run for Arnold. A good fake. Taylor Tatum paid the price. He was dropped behind the line of scrimmage. A big hit from Ivy. But Arnold on the ball fake was able to get out to the 31-yard line, pick up 6. And now we have an injured Ole Miss defender. That's Kyrie Coleman. So while the trainers take a look at Kyrie Coleman, a reminder, you can kick off your Sunday with NFL Countdown at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. A report tomorrow from Miami on what Tua's return means for him and the Dolphins. And then our Week 8 Monday Night Football matchup features the Steelers hosting the Giants, 8 Eastern on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Plus, and ESPN Deportes. Peyton and Eli once again on ESPN2 as well. Kyrie Coleman able to walk off the field. Each of these teams has found the end zone once, and it was to start things off. An impressive opening touchdown drive capped by Henry Parrish. And then Jackson Arnold floated one to Bauer Sharp, who caught 4 of his first 5 completions. And the last scoring is blockers, a yard short of the first half.
Again, you did
tackle for Jared Ivey.
Clearly, Jackson Arnold communicated to the Oklahoma coaching staff that he's okay with running the football, that he wants the ball in his hands. A lot of quarterbacks, as we have another injured player, it looks like another.
It's Jacob Sexton again. Boy, he fought off being rolled up on, got back in the game.
It's amazing to me that he's back in this game, given how that looked for him.
This is like deja vu. He is basically walking off the same way that he walked off earlier. And we weren't sure he was going to be able to get himself back in the game, but did.
This team has had just terrible luck as far as some of the injuries that they've had to deal with all season long. But give them credit. They came in here with no excuses. They made some changes to the offensive side of the ball. And again, we cannot overemphasize how good it is to see Jackson Arnold playing with the kind of confidence that he's playing with against this defense on the road.
First down and more for Taylor Tatum. Finds a crease running left and lost the football. And it is scooped up. Ole Miss has it, but then that's jarred free. Who's got it on the second fumble? Chris Paul Jr., I think, had it. Who's got it? Did OU get it back? They did.
Taylor Tatum busts through the line here, and then safety John Saunders Jr., number 5. You're going to see him here punch at the football with intentionality. Then it's picked up by Chris Paul. And then you just see it's just a mad scramble. Chris Paul cannot believe it.
Ruling on the play is there were 2 fumbles. First one recovered by Ole Miss, and then they fumbled, recovered by Oklahoma. It will be first down, Oklahoma.
And what a great job by J.J. Hester of knocking it loose from Chris Paul. You see here, he's going to take a hit. Ball's on the ground. J.J. Hester recovers.
The way this season has gone for Oklahoma, and that could be a game-saving play by J.J. Hester.
Absolutely, it sure could. Because what it does is it maintains their momentum that they've really established, especially in the run game, which is kind of shocking to me, given how strong Ole Miss has been up front as far as setting edges, winning at the point of attack, and really making teams one-dimensional. You see Chris Paul being helped off the field there on the sideline. The leading tackler for Ole Miss on their defense up to this point. Give Oklahoma credit. They have come here to meet the challenge against this defensive front. And they're answering the bell.
So back to the offense with a first down. Blown up in the backfield. Ivy's all over Arnold. The ball's on the ground, and Oklahoma gives it right back. Wow. 3 fumbles on 2 successive plays. And Ole Miss has the takeaway. Jared Ivey does it all.
Jared Ivey come off the edge, and you're going to see the offensive lineman try and pull out and protect Jackson Arnold's blind side, but he doesn't get there fast enough. He gets tripped up, and that's going to happen when Jared Ivey gets a hold of you at 6'6", 285 pounds, and has a free run on your blind side like this, and you don't have the ball secured. It's going to come out. You're going to turn it over. That's just the kind of play that Ole Miss needed. That's what you come to expect from this Ole Miss defensive front. They are very disruptive. They're big, they're fast, they're physical, and they needed to make their mark felt on this game. Mission accomplished.
In Oklahoma's 4 wins this season, they have outscored opponents 56-6 off of turnovers. In their 3 losses, they have been outscored themselves 41-0. Jackson Dart with a pump fake. He takes a heavy hit, but scrambles down inside the 30-yard line for 8.
Just like we talked about with Jackson Arnold, Jackson Dart again, moving through his progressions quickly, efficiently. Nothing's there. Pull it down, run, pick up positive yardage. Efficient quarterback play.
Ulysses Bentley into a pile up at the line of scrimmage. Will be 3rd down and a couple. Boy, Lewis, when your offense really struggles to score, turnovers become even more compounded. There's no team in America that probably has had more of a stark result contrast.
No question.
Giving the ball away or hurting themselves as well, or helping themselves by gaining turnovers that Oklahoma has this year.
Yeah, we said it was one of the keys to the game here. When they win the turnover battle, they win. When they lose it, they lose. They're 4-0 when they win it, 0-3 when they don't. They got to protect the ball at all costs. Although on that turnover in this sequence of plays, it really isn't Jackson Arnold's fault.
Play clock was winding down, and they have J.J. Pegues out there for short yardage again, but they call timeout.
Ole Miss, their second. This will be a 30-second timeout.
So with 4:53 to go before halftime, Lane Kiffin unhappy with the officials. The next stop on the F1 schedule is the Mexico City Grand Prix tomorrow afternoon at 4 Eastern on ABC. Our pre-race coverage begins at 2:30 Eastern with additional coverage on ESPN Plus in English and Spanish. So 3rd down and about 3. Looks like more like a long 2. We'll see if J.J. Pegues stays in. It looks like he will, as the big, heavy fullback. He was a top 10 prospect as a tight end out of high school before he went to Auburn and moved to defensive tackle. But he is an Oxford native. He comes back to finish off his career at Ole Miss. Inspirational story.
And I don't think it's automatically something you should assume that this is an automatic run play.
He can catch it too.
Yep, he sure can. And you know they're going to have a wrinkle off of this big personnel when he comes into the game as far as throwing the football. Whether that involves him or not, it remains to be seen. You got to be prepared for everything.
So third down and a long two. He takes the direct snap. And they're going to get him stopped. Flags down. McGee's barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. Jaden Jackson, a true freshman. That D tackle for OU led the charge. We'll have to check the penalty marker. Lewis Carter in on the stop as well.
I mean, it's just a nice job at the point of attack. Ethan Downs, Danny Stutzman in there as well.
Personal foul, face mask on the defense, number 28. Penalty is half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Killer penalty.
To 4 minutes, 50 seconds.
And Stutzman gets the call.
You can just see how they reset the line of scrimmage there at the point of attack. Stutzman trying to reach for J.J. Pegues, and you see he gets his hand on the face mask.
Thank you.
I mean, that's just a killer for Oklahoma. They really won at the point of attack. Look, J.J. has nowhere to go. And Lane Kiffin talked to us about this, that he was worried about, them running the football against this Oklahoma front. He said that they are as stout as anyone and had a lot of respect for this defense. But those self-inflicted wounds right there, when you give an offense as explosive as Ole Miss a new set of downs, it's just not what you want.
So penalty puts them in the red zone. Dart, swing pass. Daquan Wright inside the 10-yard line. Out of bounds at the 7. Tanai Walker bumped him out, but it's a gain of 7.
Again, here's where they miss a guy like Trey Harris in the one-on-one situations. Being able to throw it up to him and win contested catch.
They run it with Bentley. He does well just to get back close to the line of scrimmage. It looks like he'll lose a yard. He could have lost at least 3.
So Oklahoma defense is flying around here, making it difficult for these Ole Miss running backs to get to the second level and get some space.
Great penetration on that play by Ethan Downs. So what a big play here. Third down at the 8-yard line.
Who do you go to? Juice Wells in the game, number 3.
Dart out of the pocket. He's going to try and run for it. Slides at the 5. Where did he begin his slide? Right about at the line to gain. Again, it's where the football is when he begins his slide. And he didn't get there. It's going to be 4th down and 1.
Interesting decision here for Lane Kiffin. Oklahoma really bowed up on the last 4th down situation, although they committed a penalty. Here it looks like they're going to go ahead and throw it. Now, you got to be aware of Jackson Dart and his ability to run the football, but who does he trust here to go to?
Another timeout called by Lane Kiffin from the sideline.
Timeout. Ole Miss. The 3rd and final timeout of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
You cannot overstate again just how much they miss Trey Harris in this situation. You know, if they have any kind of indicator that he's going to be left one-on-one or where he can win a jump ball situation, this is where you lob it up to him. But they just don't have that guy now on the outside. So now you can almost feel, Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weis Jr. grinding their gears going, well, how do we manufacture, a touchdown here? Who do we get it to? Who do we trust? Do we run the football? They stopped us on the last 4th down. Do we throw it up to Juice Wells? Well, he had some disappointing, point of attack plays against LSU. It makes it tough for him right now. That's why this game's as close as it is. They don't have that explosive play component.
And there have been some short yardage. That's been face mask penalty, but physically the result of that play was a stop. So an interesting decision here. Now they put Pegues back out there after the timeout to maybe go with the big package on 4th down and a half yard. Very interesting call here for Ole Miss with 2:47 to go in the half. Again, this is an offense that is number 8 in the country and number 1 in the SEC, averaging over 41 points a game. 4th down, and it's an end around. Juice Wells. He's got nowhere to go, and OU gets the stop on Downs. Ethan Downs read it and got there
This is just fundamentally sound defense on the part of Ethan Downs, number 40. Just watch it. Flow goes away. I'm not chasing. I'm staying on the backside, and I'm looking for work. And that's exactly what he does. Keeps leverage on the football, turns it back in. And here you see it. Just turn the ball back in, let pursuit take care of it. You see Stutzman come and help out. Kobe McKenzie just rally to the football. And Ethan Downs, you can tell he's not 100%. He's favoring something in his lower body, dealing maybe with some kind of injury, but toughing it out. That's how you respond if you're Oklahoma.
Jackson Arnold on the move. Dives out to about the 12-yard line. And Lewis, what does that play call tell you about the belief that Ole Miss has just physically against this Oklahoma defense?
Yeah, that they have to use deception and really try to trick the Oklahoma defense into making a mistake in order for them to get what they want, and they just can't beat you straight up man for man. And that just, again, that just shows you how important Trey Harris is to this football team and how they don't have anyone else they can really call on in those kind of situations.
Arnold, swing pass, Javante Barnes. Across the 20 with a broken tackle. Out to the 24-yard line, and that takes us to the 2-minute timeout. So Oklahoma has all 3 of their timeouts remaining.
2-minute timeout.
They also start the third quarter with the football in a low-scoring battle here in Oxford. Now, speaking of upset alert, we've got a much closer game than expected here in the first half between Oklahoma and Ole Miss. Bob Wischusen here with Louis Riddick and Chris Budden. Jackson Arnold scans the field, well protected out of the pocket. He's going to take off. Crowd hoping for a holding call. Lane Kiffin screaming at the officials. No flag comes out, and Arnold's got a first down. He's got a gain of 12.
And Lane screaming over the fact that he believes Logan Howland held on the edge that allowed Jackson Arnold around the edge, and you could see it. It happened.
Up the middle goes Javante Barnes. All the way out to the 47-yard line. Another first down, a gain of 11, close to 12. Lewis Moore made the stop. Oklahoma controls the clock. They've got all of their timeouts. They run it again. This time only for about 3. Walter Nolan made the tackle.
Just think of all the different line combinations that Oklahoma has put out there on the offensive side of the football. All the underperformance and the way in which they're winning at the point of attack running the football today.
Arnold checked down. Javante Barnes makes a man miss. He is loose into the secondary to the 32-yard line of Ole Miss. Another OU first down. 19 more on the catch and run for Barnes.
Just be the point guard. That's what they're asking Jackson Arnold to do, and get it into the hands of the playmakers that they have left, namely Javante Barnes, number 2, Taylor Tatum when he's in there at running back. But Barnes, you've seen him slam the ball up inside in the power run game, and here just a halfback wide, just put it on him and then make him go one-on-one against the linebackers of Ole Miss, and T.J. Daugherty's just not able to get him down on the ground. Just a nice throw and catch. And then just get the ball north and south, get vertical, get positive yardage, and finish with authority. Considering all the deficits that they're working with on that side of the ball, as you see Jared Ivey down, be intended to for Ole Miss. Tip your cap to Oklahoma, the way they've hung in this game and just methodically tried to manufacture offense.
Well, you mentioned the offensive line. This is their 8th game, and this is their 7th different starting offensive line combination. And now with Sexton hurt, the starting left tackle, this is their 2nd offensive line combination today. So they have started 10 different players on the offensive line. They have started 4 different players at center this year in 8 games. And oh, by the way, arguably their top 5 wide receivers are all either done for the year or at least out today.
Oh yeah, they are definitely, like I said, they're operating at a severe deficit. And again, they make changes at the offensive coordinator position. Joe John Finley gets his first crack at it now to call plays in his career. And he really has found something for Jackson Arnold, albeit here only 7 points on the board, but he has found a comfort zone for Jackson as far as how he can move this football up and down the field against one of the best defenses in college football so far this year.
I didn't even mention the injury to Gavin Sawchuk at tailback. As Jackson Arnold drops to throw again. Again has an escape hatch. There he goes. Scampers to the sideline, reserving those timeouts as Lewis Moore chased him out. 51 seconds to go in the half with all 3 timeouts.
Again, as you say, they're going to get the ball coming out here in the second half. Just eating up this time on the clock. If they can go in there with the lead, or at the very least tying this game up, if you're Brent Venables, that's the very best you could have hoped for.
4-man rush. Arnold, the down and out. There's Jacob Jordan showing up for the first time today. He was the leading receiver last week. And how bad have the injury problems been for Oklahoma? At wide receiver, Jacob Jordan is a true freshman invited walk-up who was a second-team scout team receiver that Jackson Arnold developed a combination with and some chemistry with when he got demoted behind Michael Hawkins. Taylor Tatum on 3rd down. Picks up the first down into the red zone. And now let's see if the first timeout is used, and it will. It looks like be used by Brent Venables. So with 40 seconds to go in the half. A first down in the red zone. So again, how does a true freshman invited walk-on wide receiver rise up the depth chart to become a quarterback's favorite target, Lewis?
Yeah.
When you have this kind of a group, injured and some of them out for the season.
I mean, that's just an unbelievable amount of talent and production. Especially when you look at guys like Nick Anderson and what he brings to the table. And then Deion Burks again today, someone who they were hoping maybe they could get back for this football game. That's just so much unbelievable downfield talent that they don't have available for them today, but they're making the best of it. They're making the best of it. And see now here that they're inside the red zone. They have been able to run the football effectively, which is just shocking to me against this stout Ole Miss defensive front. And Jackson Arnold's legs have been a key factor in this game.
Play action here. Slant over the middle, and there's a catch. Inside the 5-yard line by guess who? Jacob Jordan. First down to the 4.
Now they're in hurry-up mode.
They're going to run it. And getting dragged down at the line of scrimmage is Javonte Barnes. Suntarine Perkins made the stop.
Oklahoma, their second. This will be a 30-second timeout.
So it'll be second down and goal. They still, again, have the full playbook to use because they still have a timeout. 28 seconds on the clock.
The run game, their ability to win at the point of attack. Jackson Arnold down here becomes even more of a factor because of his willingness and his athletic ability. And just look at the total yards there on your screen. Look at the first down differential. I mean, that is just not something you probably expected to see here, despite the fact that they had turned the football over twice.
They got all the way down as well to the 2-yard line earlier on a first quarter drive and got stopped there on downs. They've only got 7 points on the board.
Now they got arguably their 2 best offensive players, most explosive players in Taylor Tatum and Javonte Barnes in the backfield together.
Second down and goal. A little fake by Arnold. Loses his footing. Suntarine Perkins brings him down. And now it's going to be third down and goal.
Wow, that's a huge play by Suntarine Perkins. Otherwise, that would have been 6. Had Jackson been able to break contain.
And Walter Nolan's hurt. They looked over as if they may get a timeout called by Brent Venables. He pointed to Nolan in the injury, and that saves them the timeout.
Here you're going to see Suntarine Perkins again. He almost got caught.
And it looks like they will call that a sack, as Arnold, even though he was outside the pocket, was in a passing posture. So 3rd sack for Ole Miss. But this injury to Nolan is big, Lewis, from this standpoint. 15 seconds to go in the half. It's now 3rd and goal from the 9-yard line. But this preserves the Oklahoma timeout.
Yep.
So now they can settle things down, call whatever they want to call. And if they fail to get in the end zone, they can call a timeout for their field goal group rather than having to call the timeout after the sack and then call a 3rd down play that forces the ball into the end zone somewhere.
It slows everything down for him. Able to get on the same page again. Ask Jackson Arnold what he likes, what's he been comfortable with, kind of assess how Ole Miss has been playing them both in the run and pass game.
With an injury, less than 2 minutes remaining, Oklahoma has decided not to accept the 10-second runoff. The clock snapped.
That was predictable.
Absolutely.
Probably wouldn't have accepted the 10-second runoff if I was them either.
And if you're Ole Miss, as you see Walter Nolan here trying to compose himself and walk off the field, that would be a big loss for them. He has been very disruptive inside, along with Xavier Harris, Jared Ivey when they put him inside, J.J. Pegues. He's been a big part of what Lane Kiffin and the collective here has been trying to build as far as depth and playmakers along the defensive line. He's walking very gingerly off the field.
And Pete Golding, the defensive coordinator, came from Alabama. And he said that he's the closest thing that I've had to Quinnen Williams since I've been here.
Pete Golding threw out some massive praise for some of the players on this football team between that comparison for Walter Nolan, Trey Amos, the star corner number 9, who he said is the best that he's had since Patrick Surtain's second. That's big time praise. They've got big time athletes down here and they expect big time results.
So that injury saves Oklahoma a timeout. 3rd down and goal from the 9. Arnold avoids a sack, avoids it again, extends the play, front left pylon, or front right pylon, scooping it up is Jordan for the touchdown. He avoided the princely Umanmielen sack and found Jacob Jordan in the front right corner of the end zone for the go-ahead score.
That is an unbelievable individual effort on the part of Jackson Arnold. Just look at it. The presence in the pocket, the strength in the pocket, to pull out of the sack attempt by Umanmielen. And then find Jacob Jordan, his guy over the past 2 weeks. And this is just a heck of a response on the part of Oklahoma and this offense that has just been ripped apart this week by all accounts for their underperformance, historic underperformance that they've had so far this year. Brent Venables wanted more life injected into this offense. Well, he's got it now. And just watch right here as Umanmielen comes off the corner. And then watch Jackson Arnold just stay alive and keep it alive as Jacob Jordan walks across the field from left to right. As Jackson stays alive, what are wide receivers told to do? They're going to run to where the quarterback is, and you can see Jacob Arnold right there in your screen flashing across the goal line. And you see you can just see out of the corner of your eye when you're watching this play, the sideline just erupt. No panic, protects the football, doesn't put it in harm's way, and then just gets just inside the pylon for the touchdown. I mean, that's just great awareness on the part of the former walk-on. Just look at the sideline. You want excitement? You want some life breathed back into this football team, offensively in particular. They've got it. And now Ole Miss has to respond. They have to respond. I am sure the crowd here is sitting there going, wait a minute, are you kidding me? We're down 14-10. We were 20-point favorites coming into this game.
The first career touchdown catch for Jacob Jordan. And again, the only power conference team that even showed him interest and offered him was Texas Tech. Wide receivers coach Emmett Jones was at Texas Tech and used the relationship that he built with Jacob Jordan when he got to Oklahoma. Said, hey man, I'd still want you to come to OU if you'd like. I can only offer you a spot as an invited walk-on. He said, okay. That is how he found his way to Norman. He just found his way to the end zone. And Oklahoma's got the lead at halftime. Jackson Arnold and Jacob Jordan. When Arnold was demoted to the second team, developed chemistry in practice. That chemistry gives them the lead at the break. 14-10 Oklahoma. Time for the halftime report. Back to Matt Barry.
Second half prediction, what do you got?
Going with the Battle of the Jacksons. I'm going with Jackson Arnold. Let's go.
You're going
Boomer.
Jackson Arnold upset in Oxford. Thank you for watching Avocados from Mexico. Halftime report.
You're watching the ESPN College Football Halftime Report, presented by
Avocados from Mexico.
I mean, they have just really gotten everything out of this offense that they could have wanted, given all the things that they don't have at their disposal, namely the wide receiver core. And you just see the decision-making on the part of Jackson Arnold, the comfortableness in the pocket, and then delivering the football with accuracy down the field. And this is really one of the best plays of his career, if not the best play of his career so far, given the circumstances. Avoiding the pass rush, keeping his eyes down the field, and then finding his guy, Jacob Jordan. And you just see how, obviously, this football team is invested in him and happy for him in the performance that he's put on so far this year.
You mentioned this quote when he talked to us earlier this week. He said, let's be honest, everyone is disrespecting our offense. There's not much lower we can go. No one believes in us, so why not go out there and let it rip and have fun? Well, they let it rip and have fun in the first half. Down to Chris Button.
They certainly have. Brent Venables very happy with the play of his quarterback and the play calling. Thought that they allowed Jackson Arnold to get into a rhythm, have some confidence. He's also been playing with patience, making good decisions, and using his legs as a weapon. Lane Kiffin on the other side said it's been tough to sustain drives and make good decisions when they've been banged up at the tight end position, hoping to get those guys back in the second half. Walter Nolan was down here on the sidelines, but guys did not warm up with the team coming out of halftime. We saw him leave the field gingerly in the second quarter.
And he is not out there to start off the third quarter. And there goes Jackson Arnold again. The damage, Lewis, that he did with his legs in the first half was probably as big a reason for Oklahoma's success moving the football as anything. And again, with his legs, he makes it third manageable.
Yeah, some of it was by design, a lot of it not by design, extending plays. But that's what you want. That's how you get a young quarterback to kind of unlock himself and just let his athletic ability shine through. Now here on third down, it's important for Ole Miss to establish some momentum on their own. They need to get some heat on the passer, match the patterns down the field in this cover 4 scheme they use, and get off the field.
Crowd noise and a little shifting of the defensive front might have caused a false start.
10 on the offense.
It did.
5-yard penalty. Third down.
Now it's third down and close to 9.
Again, this is where, if you're Ole Miss and your defensive coordinator, Pete Golding, this is where you want to be. Now you turn loose your pass rush, and you tell guys like Jared Ivey, like Uman Mielen, it's time to hunt. It's time to get after this young quarterback.
Didn't blitz a ton in the first half. They're blitzing here. Arnold slant, incomplete. Bauer Sharp couldn't hold on and would have been well shy of the line to gain, even if he had. So it's a 3 and out to start the third quarter for OU.
So Jackson Arnold, you just say, hey, look, you know what? I didn't put the ball in harm's way. We're going to punt, play field position. Our defense has been playing pretty solid. And if you're Lane Kiffin, and if you're Charlie Weiss Jr., the offensive coordinator for Ole Miss, you have to get Jackson Dart in a rhythm as well now. Get him back down inside the red area and get touchdowns.
Wobbly kick for Elzinga. Micah Davis. Returnable. Split the first couple of gunners. Still fighting his way for yardage. He won't go down. Out to the 35, maybe the 36-yard line before he's finally brought down as we take a look at this week's college football rankings brought to you by Capital One. Ohio State in an equally close game right now with Nebraska. That's the only top 10 team playing as we speak. As a good portion of the top 10 idle today. Of course, LSU and Texas A&M. That's a huge game later on tonight at 7:30 Eastern on ABC. A rivalry game for UM as they take on Florida State at 7 Eastern on ESPN. And will Texas walk into a Hornets nest in Nashville? Could Vanderbilt do it again? A ranked versus ranked matchup. Vanderbilt's in the top 25.
I mean, just look at that yardage disparity so far today. 162 yards. Give credit to the Oklahoma defense.
Dart to throw. Floats one to the sideline. He's got Caden Lee. You know, just taking this scene in at Vaught Hemingway right now, there are a lot of fans on their feet. The whole student section, a decent number of the crowd between the 20s is standing. It's almost like this crowd realizes what is at stake in the second half of this game. Henry Parrish Jr. up the middle. They know the season is on the line. They have to win this game, or any hopes of the college football playoff and the new 12-team system for Ole Miss is out the window.
How can they produce some explosive plays? How can they get a big chunk play without Trey Harris on the field in the passing game?
Dart with room to run. Slides to the 35-yard line. He's about a half yard short of the first down. Jaden Jackson put the pressure on Jackson Dart and flushed him out.
Oklahoma just making Ole Miss work for everything that they get. Just playing good top-down defense, trying to keep a lid on everything. Without Trey Harris, they know that they're minus their big play threat down the field outside the numbers.
Aiden Prescorn, the big tight end, is back on the field. They run a little option look and holding on to the football. Paying the price and picking up the first down is Jackson Dart. First down. Again out of the pocket. Dart, flag down across his body into the red zone. He's got a hook up to Jordan Watkins, but this might be coming back.
Holding on the offense, number 61. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. 3-play first down.
There's going to get left tackle Diego Pounds on the hold. You see him there. He engages perfectly initially. But how many times have we seen that happen? As soon as a defensive lineman tries to disengage as the play declares, offensive lineman doesn't know if the ball's been thrown or not, and he commits a holding penalty. Happens every game, every week, at every level. It's another self-inflicted wound.
Off the edge. Dart has a one-on-one. He finds Watkins. Or check that, he finds Lee. And he is down to about the 31-yard line. Brought down by Woody Washington. Picks up 13.
Caden Lee is someone that the coaches told us that Jackson Dart trusts in the slot. Very good route runner, good quickness. Picking up first downs.
Up the middle goes Henry Parrish. Will be third down. Ajon Terry makes the stop, but the penalty yardage that put Ole Miss behind the chains now gives Oklahoma a chance to get a third down stop on third down and 4.
So they switched to put Jordan Watkins in the slot now. Switched with Caden Lee.
Lee was in motion. Instead, Parrish runs it. Very close. Needed to get inside the 25-yard line and did. And now they'll say without measurement, he got the first down.
This is a good, tough run by Henry Parrish. Getting his pads low, keeping his legs moving on contact. That's a huge pickup. When's the shot play going to come down the field outside?
Dart with a fake. Over the middle. He's getting struck. Prescorn, touchdown.
Great play design. Watch this. They're going to fake the screen to Parrish, and then they're going to get Prescorn just releasing down the field after he fakes like he's going to block on the halfback screen. This leaks down the middle of the field. Just nice play call, nice play design, nice deception on the part of Charlie Weis Jr., offensive coordinator. Just the kind of result they need.
An upright hit on the point after attempt by Caden Davis. So they leave a point on the field on special teams. So it's only a 2-point lead for Ole Miss. Is out of bounds near the 25-yard line. We'll check the penalty marker. We're not going to make you wait for long. Get a guess real quick. You're running out of time.
Dylan Gabriel.
Okay.
During the return, holding number 98 on the receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
I like how you're kind of tying
Dylan
your
Gabriel
answer to this game.
Dylan Gabriel, Cam Ward.
No.
Dylan Gabriel. I'll say Dylan Gabriel. All right.
All right. The answer to our Aflac trivia question. It's not like fire 5 answers out there and see which one hits. Who's got the longest streak?
I said Cam Ward. See, that was the second one. This is the second one.
Your second guess.
We're close. We're close.
Would have been right.
We're close.
We'll see Cam Ward go for 11 consecutive when he takes on FSU tonight at 7 Eastern on ESPN.
Big series for Ole Miss defense. Try and get some momentum, put some distance on this game on the scoreboard if they can.
Arnold on the keeper, spin move, and he is met by Trey Amos, but not before he gets out close to the 18-yard line, picks up about 7 yards.
Look, I'm just amazed at how this Oklahoma revamped offensive line, though, was responding to the physical challenge against one of the best defensive fronts in football.
Quick toss, Taylor Tatum, nothing there. Third down.
And there you see what you become used to out of this Ole Miss defense. TJ Daugherty just flying in there from his linebacker position on the second level. Pete Golding said, look, this linebacker unit has really been the key to the leap that this defense has taken this year. He feels as though with the combination of him and Chris Paul, they've been huge. And they need to be huge here again because Jackson Arnold has been dangerous with his legs outside the pocket, and linebackers largely are responsible for running those kind of things down.
Jordan in motion. Here comes the 5-man rush. Over the middle. Backing up. Trey Washington was there to pop Bauer sharp. A.J. Pegues was in the backfield along with Ivy.
And you're just going to see Trey Washington in the middle of your screen. Just watch him get a good break on it. Just read Jackson Arnold's eyes, and then just breaks downhill. Nice, clean, easy hit for the PBU. Jackson Arnold led him right to it, didn't look off, didn't try and move him with his eyes. That's an easy read for the safety. And that's the kind of series that you needed to have coming out here in the second half if you're Ole Miss and you want to try and extend this lead.
His Ole Miss defense has been as statistically impressive as their offense. And they open up the third quarter with back-to-back 3-and-outs. Micah Davis on the run. And that's pretty good field position for the Rebels now as well, as they will start at their own 35-yard line, but there is a flag down at the opposite end of the field.
During the kick, holding number 19 on the receiving team. 10-yard penalty will be added to the end of the kick. First down. Timeout.
So the field position not so good as it turns out for Ole Miss. They've got the ball, though, at a 2-point lead.
ESPN College Football, presented by Tyson Brand, is brought to you by Ashley, for the love of home.
What I love about football is the life lessons that it teaches me along my way, how it taught me how to get through adversity.
It teaches you life and how it knocks you down and you got to get back up. Just an opportunity to understand that there's always growth, there's always ways to get better.
You have to come out and put your best foot forward. Everybody's always getting better, so it just pushes you to get better and just compete every day.
Playing football has taught me a lot about discipline. Every single day you have to wake up early, do your workouts, study film, and have a consistent routine to get better and better each and every day.
We do this each and every week, and I'm not sure there is a sport that would ever teach you more life lessons than this one.
No question about it. And look, they're being taught this on the field here today. They come out, they have a great start, that being Oklahoma in particular on defense now, and then they get the ball drove down the field on them and score. How are they going to respond now to the adversity that they're facing? Because Ole Miss looks like they may be heating up offensively.
They bring a blitz. Dart sees it, and he unloads to Daquan Wright.
The 12 personnel packages, 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, the utilization of Daquan Wright and 86 Caden Priesthorn. That's how they're manufacturing offense in the absence of Trey Harris.
Fastest offense in the SEC. Dart tripped up, shovel pass. Did it reach Henry Parrish? Looks like it did. The creativity of Jackson Dart out to the 35-yard line. Picks up 6.
So Jackson working up in the pocket.
Two elements to this play. Was it a catch? And was Jackson Dart's knee down with the ball still in his hand? It looks like his knee may have been down before he let go of the football. That may turn out to be a reversal. That might be a sack.
See that right knee starting to hit the ground. Ball hasn't left his hand yet. Down. Ball still in his hand. I think that's coming back.
Should be a pretty quick reversal.
What you see here from Oklahoma, though, is their defensive front, when they're able to put their ears back the way in which they've defended this football game by and large. And it's going to be a challenge here for Jackson Dart to continue to move this football.
Quarterback was down at the 25-yard line. It will be second down for Ole Miss at that spot.
That's a 10-yard reversal as it will come back to the 25-yard line. So Willard gets the sack.
Just look at those stats since the start of the game. 9 for 9 in his most recent pass attempts, 130 yards and a touchdown. Look, Charlie Weiss Jr. told us he just wants Jackson to stay true to the progression, have great footwork. Don't try to be a superhero. And that'll be good enough to win this football game and win it handily. Without Trey Harris on the field, as you see there on the sideline, just such a big, big part of this offense all year long.
Number 1 in America in receiving yards per game. Number 4 in America in receptions per game. He takes a shot to Watkins. Incomplete. And Kiffin was hoping for a flag. Kenai Walker was there. That was pretty good coverage, step for step with Jordan Watkins.
It's textbook coverage, Bob. I mean, just look at it here. Offhand jam. Maybe pulling on the jersey. There's a little hand fighting going on down the field. And Jordan Watkins is really, he's the guy who's taken the plays that normally Trey Harris would run. Just not able to get that separation and connect on the big play outside.
So with the sack and the incompletion, 3rd and 14. Here's a 5-man rush. They're after Dart. He floats one. And he's got his man. Boy, creativity again. Micah Davis leaks out of the right flat and is able to bail out Jackson Dart and pick up 26 on 3rd and 14.
I mean, that's just clutch. It's a clutch play as we have another Oklahoma defender on the ground now. That's just a clutch play on the part of Jackson Dart.
Hassan McCullough is now being tended to.
Just watch him work up in the pocket here. Keep his eyes down the field. And here right before he's about to get sacked, just loft a nice soft touch pass over the defender, Kenai Walker. Big time play.
Betbury College Football Studio. AT&T Multiview is keeping fans connected. So much to get to this afternoon, including UFC 308 live in Abu Dhabi, the main event. Max Holloway, featherweight championship on the line. That and more in a noon window, Bob.
As they have the 2-point lead. A missed extra point, keeping this lead at 2. They can make this a 2-score game with a touchdown and a point after on this drive. Play action again for Jackson Dart. Over the middle. Again, he's got Hayden Prescore. And Caden Prescore breaking tackles. He caught the last touchdown, and he's got another first down. A gain of 14 more for Ole Miss.
You see the utilization of motion, ball handling, opening up throwing windows on the second level where Prescore is going to work against this zone coverage. Great adjustments on the part of the Ole Miss offensive coaching staff.
Shoulder fake. One-on-one. Jordan Watkins. Touchdown.
Bob, there's the big shot on the outside to the guy who they said needs to step into Trey Harris's shoes, Jordan Watkins. He just runs the stutter go against the corner, Kani Walker, and sets him up perfectly. Jackson Dart sells it with the pump fake. They get one-on-one coverage on the outside. They've been waiting for it. We've been waiting for the big shot play on the outside. And the guy who they expected to step up has stepped up. Jackson Dart puts it right on him. That's just great play calling and great play setup on the part of Ole Miss.
And Charlie Weiss Jr., we talked to him yesterday, singled out Jordan Watkins. Said, look, he's underrated. Yes, we don't have Trey Harris, but we have a Jordan Watkins who is someone that we need to target more when we get him a one-on-one. And touchdowns on back-to-back plays.
Previous plays under further review, the ruling on the field was a touchdown.
We should say back-to-back possessions.
Here you
and they are just making sure that his knees weren't down and that he broke the plane. Very close.
That's going to be super close.
Worst case scenario, they've got the ball inside the 1-yard line.
Is it down? That right shin may be down right there, just short of the goal line. You see his right leg kind of underneath the defender from Oklahoma. Right there, deep down.
The ball in his left hand.
And he's short.
But again, worst case scenario, Lewis, the ball's inside the 1-yard.
Absolutely. And then you just lean on this big offensive line, hopefully punch this ball in if you're an Ole Miss fan, Ole Miss coaching staff. But again, it doesn't negate the fact that the big play is dialed up at just the right time. They've been setting it up, trying to get him free down the outside. It's just...
And Trey Harris has a lot to do with this. But the Ole Miss offense is top 2 in America in 20-plus yard plays, 30-plus yard plays, 40-plus yard plays. They're a chunk play offense. And now they've got the heavy group out there. And big number 38, J.J. Pegues, who has 4 rushing touchdowns on the season, is on the field.
And as good as Oklahoma's defense has been, they've given up 24 plays of 20-plus yards so far this season, which is quite a lot. So they've targeted them specifically on the outside lane. Been a great chess match back and forth.
Direct snap to Pegues. A second effort, reaches out, touchdown. There's a flag down on the near side of the field. It's going to be offside against Oklahoma.
Offside on the defense, number 32. The penalty is declined. Resulting in a touchdown.
We said yesterday to J.J. Pegues, big man touchdowns are fun to call. If you can score one tomorrow. He said, I'll try. He just did.
This is a heck of an individual effort on his part as he gets stopped initially. Doesn't stop his legs, though. Spins out of it. You're going to see here, he just puts defenders on his back. Stretching out. You see that left shin touch the ground.
Once again, the replay booth wants to have
previous plays under further review. The ruling on the field was
yeah, you got to take a look at his left leg here, his left shin, as he's stretching out for the goal line. You see it doesn't touch there. He starts to extend the ball. That is close.
It looked pretty clear on the Watkins play that the shin was down. I think you called that one early. This one, as we get a look right from pylon cam along the end zone line. Do you see anything here that is clear and obvious, or as clear and obvious as the Jordan Watkins call to take this touchdown away from J.J. Pegues?
No, I do not.
Chris Button, the hometown boy, scores another touchdown, and we all know if you follow Ole Miss football why it's special that he wears that number 38 as well.
Yeah, especially for someone who grew up watching Rebel football. It's the Chucky Mullins Award. It goes to someone who resembles courage, leadership, perseverance, determination, honoring the late Chucky Mullins, who was paralyzed in a tackle against Vandy back in the 80s. And for a guy, when you talk to the coaching staff about him, just a unique selflessness. When we were talking to him yesterday, he said, that's just why I feel that I'm here, to be able to help other people. And got a huge smile when he was talking about Christmas is my favorite holiday because that's when I really get to give. Because I gave my dad a 360 lawnmower. He's like, I got sick of watching him try and push the lawnmower up and down the hill, so I got him one he could drive around. But you talk to anyone out here, they all as well. He said, I'll be in a defensive meeting here, knock on the door, and they're like, hey, we got a couple plays. Can you come in here? We got to talk about it. And we just saw one right there.
Was a tight end wearing 89. Goes to Auburn. They make him a defensive tackle. Stayed in 89. So that, you can see his road number when he plays for Ole Miss, but he gets to wear the honorary 38 as the Chucky Mullins Award winner. And if you follow Ole Miss football, or certainly as someone who grows up in Oxford, and that's a different level of appreciation as to what that number 38 means.
And he exemplifies all of it, everything that it stands for. He just brightens up the room when he comes in the room, when he talked to us yesterday. Open, honest, told good stories, and he's just a good football player. And there you see Chucky Mullins and the honorary 38 up here in the stadium. Doesn't get any better than that.
So after back-to-back 3-and-outs for the Oklahoma offense, as they have lost their rhythm, and a lot of momentum going in at halftime. Jackson Arnold found Jacob Jordan for a touchdown right before the halftime break. Now they find themselves in a 2-score hole. Javonte Barnes, though, good start to this drive. 8 yards on first down.
That's just a heck of a job at the point of attack with this Oklahoma offensive line of getting good angles, sustaining blocks, and Javonte Barnes just jump cutting to the outside and then getting the ball upfield with good power and authority. I mean, now you're sitting here in second and 2. That's exactly what you're looking for.
Arnold, he wants the deep ball. Hoping for Brennan Thompson. Incomplete. Threw it up the hash marks, and Thompson had broken outside John Saunders Jr. and Trey Washington. They were both back there trying to bracket Brennan Thompson. So now it's 3rd down and 2.
I think this is a big 3rd down for Oklahoma. You do not want to give this ball back to Ole Miss and their offense with the way it's starting to click now. You need to sustain a drive here, convert this 3rd down, and keep this drive going. Get Jackson Arnold out on the perimeter, let him use his legs. If you're Ole Miss, you want to have somebody spying and making sure he doesn't get outside the pocket.
They show blitz, they rush 4. And up the middle, submarining for a first down is Barnes.
If there's one thing that surprises me the most with this entire football game, it's the effectiveness Oklahoma has had running the football against this defensive front. I mean, they're already over double the yardage running the football than what Ole Miss allows on average in games so far this year. That's something I just didn't see happening at all.
Direct snap. Taylor Tatum. 2 yards. Well, coming into today, Ole Miss was allowing 1.96 yards per attempt. Number 1 in FBS. Now that is padded a little bit by some of the teams they played at home early this season, but South Carolina was the only opponent to break 100 yards rushing against Ole Miss so far this season until today. And this is now the most yards that this defense has given up on the ground this season, and we haven't even gotten to the 4th quarter yet. And Barnes adds to the total, but we'll see if the play stands.
And this is with an offensive line for Oklahoma that we've talked about numerous times already that has undergone massive changes every single game. No continuity at all.
Holding on the offense, number 77. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, 2nd down.
That's Heath Ozida.
There you see it on your screen. 153 yards rushing. A lot of that has to do with Jackson Arnold and his ability to create outside the pocket. But it just made this game a lot closer than what people maybe suspected when they turned on their television today. And that's what you just love about big-time college football. You just never know.
Little tunnel screen. Bauer sharp. Tunnel was closed. He tried the opposite side. J.J. Pegues was waiting and dropped him for a huge loss. And now, way behind the sticks after an 8-yard loss are the Sooners.
You see J.J. Pegues running off the field. He's been dealing with a little bit of a shoulder issue. Hasn't been 100%. You see Lane going to check on him. But now this is where Oklahoma does not want to live. You do not want to live in this kind of down and distance situation against this defense. Just keep an eye on number 1, Princely Umanmielen, coming off the top of the screen.
And nothing to do if you're Jackson Arnold to check it down. And Bauer Sharp is immediately wrapped up and thrown down by Centarian Perkins. What are you calling on 3rd down and 26?
Here he comes. Princely Umanmielen. You see the long arms, the ability to dip and get underneath offensive tackles. I mean, that's what NFL scouts drool over. That's what they want to see from this young man. They want to see him be even better against the run, play strong against the run, but he has all the tools to be an absolutely dominant pass rusher.
Davis with a fair catch at about the 33-yard line of Ole Miss after a 42-yard punt from Elzinga. Our Week 9 SEC Network football lineup continues today at 4:15 Eastern. Possible upset alert for number 5 Texas against number 25 Vanderbilt. And then we cap the night with Kentucky hosting Auburn at 7:45 Eastern. Texas, if they were to win, heavily favored to make the college football playoff. Even with a loss, still a good chance if they run the table to make it. How about for Vanderbilt? They already have a win against Alabama. We're not giving them much respect even with a win to make the playoff. But of course, they end the season with a couple of really hard games. I think they got Tennessee and LSU still at the end of their year. So very, very difficult schedule for Vanderbilt to still play 3 teams in the top 10. Henry Parrish starts this drive with a half-yard gain.
Now would be a good time if you're an Oklahoma Sooner fan or if you're an Oklahoma Sooner player. Got to get one of these turnovers. Win that turnover differential. You have to give your offense some favorable field position. You got to be tackling at the football, punching at the football. You cannot let this game get any further away from you. You got to set up your offense. And if you're Ole Miss, it's about ball security now. Lean on this defensive front with this big offensive line.
Down the sideline, behind the defense is Juice Wells. And Dart found him, even underthrew him a bit. If he puts that on Juice Wells in stride, Wells might be gone.
I don't know what the corner Des Malone is thinking here. Juice Wells just runs right by him. He's sitting and squatting, looking for a shorter route.
Dart wastes no time. Swing pass to Parrish. But he is immediately met by Deshaun McCullum.
And you're going to see Juice Wells just kind of takes off outside release and then just sprinting up the boundary. And you see the corner Des Malone. He's just sitting and squatting and looking at the quarterback as if he has a safety over the top, which he doesn't. That's just a bust on the part of Oklahoma. Ole Miss capitalizes.
Down to the final 20 seconds of this third quarter. Jackson Dart, middle screen, caught by Prescorn. And that might take us to the end of the third quarter. Peyton Bowen there to bring down Prescorn. It will be a 2-score lead for Ole Miss as we head to the fourth quarter. And the Ole Miss offense for Lane Kiffin, they have found their rhythm here in the second half. Jackson Dart knows it.
possessions, 2 touchdowns in that third quarter. What's allowed you to move the football so effectively?
Just pleased with how we came out in the second half. This is how we wanted to come out, obviously. 2 3-and-outs and, 2 scores. So this is the way that we should play. We got a lot of game left here. Let's take it to a 3-score game right here. If you let me go, I'll try to make this 3rd and 2.
Sounds good.
That's nice of Chris to let him go.
Yeah, let him go do his job, Chris.
Yeah, right. If I was Chris, absolutely. I said, no. I'm asking you another question. Stay here.
What's the play call? What are you thinking here on this 3rd down?
Exactly. That's Chris Budden down in the field. Alongside Louis Riddick, Bob Wischusen, start of the 4th quarter. And let's see what happens on that 3rd down to begin the 4th. Play action. Jackson Dart. Sidearms one, incomplete. See, Chris, you should have asked him another question.
The coaches that are heavily involved in the offensive play calling really love doing the interviews when they have the ball.
Is that what you found?
Yes, across the board.
I'll tell you see Jackson Dart just hitting himself on the head right there. He had Juice Wells coming open for a short touchdown, and he was just waiting for him to clear, but our Mason Thomas coming off the edge hit him and affected his throw, but they had the touchdown. They had the dagger play called up right there. You see him. He's frustrated. And Charlie Weiss Jr. and Lane Kiffin, now that Chris let him go do his job, he had the perfect call.
So Caden Davis from 41. Splits the uprights. So that stretches the lead up to 12 early 4th quarter. Back to Matt Barry.
Gentlemen, a developing situation in Columbus. Nebraska, Dante Dowdell over the top of the Ohio State defense. Cornhuskers grab the lead. They have to go for 2. Shovel pass, Nate Bornkirker. And Nebraska up on Ohio State, 17-14 in the 4th.
That would throw a bit of a monkey wrench into the predicted 12-team college football playoff bracket.
So that's why you let these kids play the games, man. This has been one of those unpredictable seasons like we haven't seen in a long time. Teams just rise up every single week to shock you with their performances. There's a lot of pressure on these players, man.
Well, I think what's going to be really interesting, Louis, is in a couple of weeks when the committee actually puts out their first college football playoff rankings.
For sure.
Because right now, I mean, Ole Miss is a great example. The AP poll has them number 18. Our own football power index at ESPN, we have them number 5. I mean, the truth probably lies somewhere in the middle. Where will all of these SEC teams fall? As we take a look at the Taco Bell Live Más student section, they've been rocking here in the second half and all season long. Student sections across the country are competing to be the Taco Bell Live Más student section of the year. Download the Taco Bell app to learn more. That student section has been standing, and both of those OU 3-and-outs to begin the 3rd quarter. When this game really flipped, we're backed right up on that Ole Miss student section with Jackson Arnold dealing with a lot of noise. He's at the quieter end of the stadium, and Karam keeps the play alive as it banks to Jake Roberts, the tight end. He ends up picking up 8.
And you see Jaden Kennedy, you're going to see him over on the left side of your screen, just sitting on the route, gets the PBU, and the ball pops up in the air.
Arnold to Jacob Jordan. And he might lose a yard or 2 back to the 30-yard line.
There you see the speed of these linebackers. Chris Paul just tracking down Jacob Jordan out there on the perimeter. But I was going to say, getting back to the route that they attempted on 1st down, this is setting up. Look, Oklahoma needs to hit a big play. A double move on Jaden Kennedy, opposite Trey Amos. They have to get a chunk play. And if they're going to pick a side to go to, that's the side to go to. The corner opposite number 9, Trey Amos, is where every team has tried to attack when they wanted to get something big down the field.
Ole Miss shows blitz. 3rd down and 5. They're coming after Jackson Arnold. Arnold escapes the pocket. He won't get past Princely Umanmiele, who drags him down well short of the 1st down. It's early 4th quarter. It's still a 2-possession game. But is there desperation here for Brent Venables? Can you afford to punt with Ole Miss feeling it on offense, or do you have to go for it?
I think here, with the way this offense is rolling right now, I think you have to extend this drive some way, somehow.
Does he believe his defense can get a stop? It looks like they're going to play with desperation and go for it, even with over 13 minutes on the clock. Will they snap the ball? And it looks like they're going to call timeout.
Timeout. Oklahoma. They're first.
We will see when we come back if they stick with a go-for-it play call in a moment. Welcome back to the SEC on ESPN. Bob Wischusen, Louis Riddick, Chris Button back here in Oxford at Vaught Hemingway. Well, after talking it over, Brent Venables puts the punt group out on 4th down. And Louis, not only are they giving the ball up and not going for it on 4th and 3, but they just used a timeout to make this decision.
The ESPN Analytics says to go for it. My inclination initially was they should go for it here. Down 2 scores. Ole Miss's offense humming.
Now their defense has to get a stop now. Elzinga to Micah Davis, fair catch just inside the 30-yard line. Coming up on ABC and ESPN Plus at 3:30 Eastern, number 15 Alabama hosts number 21 Missouri. And then we cap the night with number 8 and number 14 as LSU and Texas A&M will meet College Station at 7:30 Eastern. Two teams that are still unbeaten in SEC play. Two very impactful games coming up on the SEC slate.
Now, if you're Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weis Jr., you want to use a nice combination of this revamped offensive line where they made some changes up front to try and get more performance out of this offensive line, mix the run game in, opportunistic throwing game. Jackson Dart be efficient with the football and go up 3 scores and put this game away and need some time off this clock.
Now, Oklahoma's defense has to get a stop, but I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Louis, before that 4th down, that decision needs to be made even before 3rd down. Are we going to be a go-for-it team or are we not? Because that can't be something that then costs you a timeout. As that pass, one-handed catch by Caden Lee. And he is brought down behind the line of scrimmage. You're down 2 scores with 13 minutes to go. You need your timeouts. And cost them a timeout to then what? Avoid a 5-yard delay of game penalty before they punt?
You pretty much know how this game is unfolding, and you should probably have that already gamed out in your head that you're going to go for it in that kind of down and distance situation.
Jackson Dart pulls back a little pump fake and scrambles ahead to make it 3rd and manageable. Dejon Terry tripped him up at the 34. So it's 3rd down and 4.
Jackson Dart just missed getting sacked by R. Mason Thomas again with a nice pass rush. And here again, if they can pick up this 1st down, the clock just continues to run and they slow things down. You see them here. No more of the fast up-paced tempo. Just slowing things down, trying to pick up 1st downs, trying to be efficient.
Dart under pressure, off his back foot, incomplete, throws it to nowhere. He was pre-score and was in the area. I guess they will.
Where Danny Stutzman just gets a free run on the quarterback, and you're going to see it here. Here he comes. Right down the pike against Jackson Arnold, just selling out with the 0 pressure look, man-to-man across the board in the back end. They don't have enough guys to pick it up.
That easily could have been intentional grounding. A line drive punt, and this is going to go inside the 5 at the 2. Frazier Mazin perfectly finds the coffin corner. Wow, 62-yard punt. The Australian couldn't have aimed it any better.
That's big time. Just look at this view. That's pretty cool, man. Great execution.
Welcome back to Ole Miss. Bob Wischusen, Louis Riddick, and Chris Budden. 11.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And Ole Miss has a 26-14 lead. We have a brief pause, at least here in the fourth quarter. There is apparently a medical emergency down on the Ole Miss sideline that, as we speak, paramedics are attending to. So the football game takes a backseat to a real-life emergency down on the Ole Miss sideline, as it seems either an assistant coach or a member of the Ole Miss support staff has gone down on the sideline and is surrounded by EMS personnel. So we will step aside and come back as soon as we can to Oxford. We are back in Oxford, Mississippi. Bob Wischusen and Louis Riddick upstairs, and Chris Budden down behind the Ole Miss sideline. And Chris, looks like a very big sigh of relief down on the Rebel sideline.
Yes, that is a team doctor who collapsed on the sidelines. He was laying on his back for a while as doctors came and checked him out. He never lost consciousness. He is up and now walking towards the tunnel where they have called an ambulance to take him to the nearest hospital, but a good sign after what was a scary couple of moments.
You know, all of a sudden, EMS personnel were rushing across the field, and there was a big commotion on the Ole Miss sideline. We weren't sure what was happening, but then you could see them surrounding someone who, as you could see, was in street clothes, not a player, that had fallen on the sideline. But very good to then see one of those team doctors able to sit up and has now been walked back to the tunnel. So aside from 2-yard line, Jackson Arnold chased in the end zone, gets one to the sideline. Jacob Jordan is there. Some breathing room for Oklahoma out to their own 10. He picks up 8.
It's a nice job of Jackson Arnold staying poised, getting the ball out of his hands. Defensive coordinator Pete Golding sending Chris Ball on the linebacker fire, trying to put some pressure on the young quarterback.
Swing pass, Devontae Barnes, all the way out to about the 25-yard line. So 2 snaps, and they pick up 23 yards.
They got to keep getting yardage in chunks. Down 2 scores, they got to get some chunk plays. They got to get the ball down the field. Again, at some point, Brennan Thompson, 15. Can you get the ball to him? He's been a big playmaker for them.
Slant incomplete for Jordan. And Banks was there in coverage.
As nice of a story as Jacob Jordan has been with this depleted wide receiver core, Brennan Thompson has the speed on the outside to be able to do some damage if they can call some plays to get him schemed up in one-on-one situations.
He's the widest receiver to the bottom of the screen. Instead, it is a check down to the opposite side of the field, again to Javonte Barnes. A.J. Pegues, John Saunders Jr. rally to limit the game to 3.
And I think if you're Ole Miss, you know this too. You know you are telling your signal caller on the field through the coach-to-player communication, that being T.J. Daugherty. Pete Golding is telling them, make sure you alert the secondary. Keep everything in front of you. No breakdowns. No lapses in judgment. Make them go the long way. Don't give them anything cheap.
On the Oklahoma sideline, you have to think they've already made a 4th down decision, as here's a screen out to Jordan. And it looks like he will be short. You can't waste time here, and you also can't call another timeout to make the decision like they did last time. And it looks like they have already made that decision to go for it.
That's right.
As it's 4th down and 1. Quick snap. Barnes. Extra effort moves the chains. A.J. Pegues made the stop, but it is a 1st down for Oklahoma.
Barnes has run the ball hard all day long. Contact behind the line of scrimmage, spins off of it, keeps his legs moving. Now again, the clock ticking. Soon inside of 9 minutes, you got to score twice. Where's the big play coming from?
They run it again. This time it's Tatum. 3 yards. Kilo Stone wrapped him up at the 39-yard line. Jackson Arnold has all day to throw. Finds Bauer sharp. He runs the right sideline for a first down. Well, the checkdowns are there. He's looking downfield, Lewis. It's just the coverage is not giving him the shot play to take.
Absolutely not. And as we said, defensive coordinator Pete Golding, you know he's telling his guys in this too-high safety scheme, trying to protect against the deep shot, do not even think about, if you're a deep safety, about stepping up on any kind of play-action fake. Don't even think about it. Just stay back, let the routes declare, make plays on the ball if it comes to you.
Arnold floats one, reaching back to make the catch is J.J. Hester. First down. A 19-yard gain.
Hey, Brennan Thompson had split the double-team coverage at the bottom of your screen, just took off on a go route. And Jackson Arnold didn't see him, didn't let it go. But he had J.J. Hester on the deep over. They're probing this secondary, trying to figure out a way.
Arnold throws one backwards to Taylor Tatum. That's a running play and a flag thrown for a late hit out of bounds. Chris Paul Jr. frustratedly takes his helmet off after the flag comes out.
See, these are these situations now.
After the play was over, personal foul, late hit out of bounds, number 11 on the defense. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
Late in games, can you maintain your composure? He's clearly in the white. You can't take that shot. You just can't. There's no excuse for it. That's an easy pull-off. If you're Chris Paul, that's just a bad lapse in judgment.
From the 2-yard line to the red zone. Helped out with the 4th personal foul called against the Ole Miss defense. Trick play, backwards pass. Bauer Sharp wanted to throw it and runs out of room. They dialed up the option pass as they threw it backwards to Bauer Sharp, and the tight end was ready to take a shot of his own. But Centarion Perkins closed the window.
I mean, I understand what offensive coordinator Joe John Finley is thinking, but I'm just wanting to keep this ball in Jackson Arnold's hands, considering how he has made good decisions so far here today. Get him out on the edge. Let him be a dual run pass threat.
12th play of the drive. Arnold, quarterback run! Swamped under. A loss of about 4. Jared Ives had a big game, and he gets another tackle for loss from the number 1 tackle for loss defense in the SEC.
See, now this is why you go out and you get all these defensive linemen. You get these guys like Uman Mielen. Why you have guys like Jared Ivey, J.J. Pegues. You have to step up now. Centarion Perkins, you have to make a play. This is where you put the game away.
4-man rush. Arnold. And sacked. And now they're going to have to go for it again. J.J. Pegues was all over him. Late flag thrown. A flag drops out. If this is against the Ole Miss defense, it is going to wreck what would have been 4th down and a mile. Lane Kiffin and the entire Ole Miss sideline deflated as the flag comes
Sideline
out.
warning on Ole Miss. 4th down.
And it turns into just a warning. And Lane Kiffin, he is screaming at the sideline to get back. So it does not ruin the sack and what becomes now 4th and 23. They can get a first down inside the 3-yard line, can Oklahoma. But this almost seems like a Hail Mary.
Yeah. Well, look, the safety position for Ole Miss has been a point of debate when you're breaking down this defense. Can they make a play in the deep part of the field?
Arnold sacked again. Omani Allen brings him down. 5.5 minutes to go. And that's sack number 5 for Ole Miss.
We talked about this defensive line, that they need to be the closers. Uman Mielen, J.J. McKees before that, Jared Ivey, 15. Centarian Perkins, number 4. It's time to hunt. It's time for you to do what you do best. And there you see offensive tackle Logan Hallen has no shot. Princely is just too fast off the line of scrimmage. He can get that big 6'4" frame down to about 5 feet off the ground and just turn the corner and finish it.
Quarterback run for Jackson Dart. Oklahoma has 2 timeouts and the 2-minute timeout, but they need the ball twice. So the fastest offense in the SEC and the 4th fastest offense in FBS wants to become a very slow offense now and take the play clock down as far as they can and milk the last 5 minutes. Up 2 scores.
They haven't even come out of the huddle, and it's under 10 seconds on the play clock.
With 1 on the play clock, they hand it off to Parrish. And he gets wrestled down after a gain of 3. And it looks like timeout number 2 will now be called by OU.
Timeout, Oklahoma, their second. Please reset the game clock to 4 minutes, 42 seconds. 4-4-2.
Well, Lewis, you talked about the roller coaster ride that teams in this league will have. Well, this is the roller coaster ride that the Rebels have been on this year. At the 4-0 mark, they were up to 76% on our All-State playoff predictor to make the new 12-team playoff, down to 23% after their overtime loss at LSU. They'll barely inch up if they can hold on and win today, but they would get to 77% according to our playoff predictor should they run the table.
Out. Yeah, I mean, that's why every game is crucial here. And look, we can all talk about and use all the coach speak we want about them taking it 1 game at a time. And that's going to be the message that Lane Kiffin communicates to this football team, but he knows that every single play, every single drive, every single game matters from here on out.
3rd down and 7. And again, Oklahoma has 1 timeout left, so we'll see if Ole Miss just runs the ball and forces them to use it. Oh, they're going to try and throw for a 1st down. There is the slant. Jordan Watkins comes up short. And let's see if Brent Venables uses a timeout, or it looks like he's going to hold on to his final timeout as we check in with Chris.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin certainly understands the expectations about making the playoff this year, but sensed his team could feel it as well. So he said, I brought it up only 1 time, and that was after the loss to Kentucky. He said, guys, we can't continue to play week in and week out with feeling these kind of expectations. He understands with how open they've been about the transfer portal and their collective, that comes with it, and he wouldn't change anything, but he felt his team was playing like that.
Line drive punt. Returnable for Peyton Bowen. Breaking tackles out to the 40-yard line. So pretty good field position for Oklahoma, but 1 timeout and under 4 minutes to go, needing 2 scores. Back to Matt Barrett.
All right, Bob, time for me to play network traffic cop here. We've got BYU and UCF coming up, scheduled to kick at 3:30. If the Ole Miss game is not over, we will move this one to ESPN2 for the 3:30 kick. So BYU, UCF, if you're watching for that, we'll kick it on ESPN2 until the conclusion of Ole Miss, Oklahoma.
Matt Barry, an outstanding network traffic cop, keeping things straight. Better network traffic cop than he is, by the way, picking legends that played at Pitt. They put up all-time legends of Pitt football the other night. Lewis Riddick not on the list.
Yeah, I think rightfully so. But
Jackson Arnold with a reach by J.J. Hester, incomplete across the middle. I mean, how did they leave Lewis Riddick off the
you know
list?
why? Because Pitt has some of the greatest football players of all time.
Whatever.
They do.
Tony Dorsett, Tony Dorsett. You should have been on the list.
Hugh Green, Ricky Jack. Yeah, there's some pretty good ones.
I guess those guys are good too.
Some pretty good ones. Their football team's playing pretty good too. We'll see how it goes for the rest of the season for the mighty Panthers.
Arnold. Bauer Sharp tackled in the field of play. That'll keep the clock rolling.
Shot plays. You've got to get the ball down the field. You've got to take a shot to someone on this outside lane.
Again, Brennan Thompson to the bottom of the screen. You have to think would be the deep target.
There he is.
Arnold sacked. Number 6. Suntaran Perkins around the ankles of Jackson Arnold. Helped to bring him down. Pegues there as well.
And Umar Mielen coming once again, working against Logan Hallen around the blind side of Jackson Arnold. This is why they went out and got these defensive linemen. Lane Kiffin told me this last year. We have to beef up our defensive line. We've got to get guys who can close out games, who can stop the run, who can rush the passer on third down. And he went out and got 2 of them in Princely and Walter Nolan. And Princely's making his presence felt in here right now.
Last gasp for the Sooners on 4th down. Being chased is Arnold. He's tripped up. Akilo Stone joins the party.
Watch Akilo Stone. Watch him jump over here and then just take off. He changes the look on the offensive line at the snap. And then he just takes a quick charge in the A-gap, hits the rip, and then just flattens down the line of scrimmage. That's the thing that also Lane Kiffin said that they have now. They have depth. They have some guys that they can rotate in there. Akilo Stone being one of them. Jamarius Brown, the freshman, being another. They have 4 defensive tackles. If you count J.J. Pegues, Walter Nolan, Xavier Harris can play inside there. They've got some guys that can get after you. You see him slam the ball on the sideline.
A little fake by Dart. And he picks up a couple. The final timeout called by Brent Venables with 2:37 to go.
Oklahoma. Their third and final timeout of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
But the Ole Miss pass rush has ended this game basically for the Rebels with 4 sacks on the last 2 series of downs to end the last couple of drives for the Sooners. And let's check Lewis's keys to the game, and those 7 sacks now added up.
They sure did. I mean, and that's really what we thought would be one of the big keys to this game, that the Ole Miss defensive line would overwhelm a revamped Oklahoma offensive line. Win the turnover battle. They didn't do that. They were -1. For Ole Miss, improved red zone efficiency, 2 TDs on 4 red zone trips. It's not bad. They could have been even better, though. They had more opportunities and should have cashed in. The one that surprised me but didn't cost them, allow under 70 rushing yards. They allowed almost double that, which is out of character for them, but they'll get that tightened up. And if you're Ole Miss right now, again, as Chris Button talked about and as Coach Kiffin talked to us about, the pressure's real on this football team. There's a ton of expectations. A lot went into building this roster through the transfer portal. Jackson Dart coming back. They know what's expected down here. It's not just winning, it's winning convincingly. And this is a big game for them.
Well, they're a first down away basically from being able to take a knee. They're going to swing one out to Juice Wells. And he'll get bottled up. But already the official saying his forward progress has been stopped, so that keeps the clock rolling, and that'll take us down to the 2-minute timeout, where it will be 3rd down on the other side of the 2-minute timeout for Ole Miss. Well, you do give Oklahoma credit, though, as they are extremely shorthanded. Banged up on the offensive line, very banged up at wide receiver. And they fought tooth and nail throughout this game to keep it as close as they could.
Absolutely. Look, I mean, at some point in time, the lack of bodies, the lack of high-level quality bodies, it just was going to bear itself out, and you're seeing that happen.
ESPN College Football is presented by Tyson Brand, always been Tyson, and in part by McDonald's. Time now for the final 2 minutes, presented by Allstate.
Back here at Vaught Hemingway, where a dominant team Ole Miss continues to be. About to improve to 25-3 since the start of 2021, and winners of 11 of their last 12. Although the final 2 minutes presented by Allstate, a little less exciting than we expected them to be at halftime, as Oklahoma scored right before halftime to really put a scare into this crowd. But it has been a dominant second half performance by the Rebels. Now facing 4th down, they'll take this clock down as far as they can. Now, Lewis, Ole Miss right now, AP poll ranked 18th. Again, in our metric, we've got them ranked 5th. If you look at the football power index, whatever those metrics ultimately mean. And on 4th down, I'll just run a play here and go for it. Although Jackson Dart looks like he's going to fake a clap, and it'll be a delay of game called. The truth probably lies somewhere in the middle, but I guess for an SEC team that's lost 2 games by field goals, 1 on the road against LSU in overtime, how good do you think Ole Miss is, maybe in comparison, when you look at an Iowa State, a BYU about to start their game against UCF? Coming up next as soon as we're done, Notre Dame dominant today against Navy. Like right now, if this were to be the college football playoff comparison, Iowa State, BYU, Notre Dame, if you were in the room, that would be the conversation. Those are the teams that would be right on the bubble. Where would you put Ole Miss when you compare them, say, to those 3 teams?
Yeah, really, to me, since we've seen both Notre Dame and Ole Miss, and we've seen them in person, talk to their coaches. Look, you would think that Ole Miss's offense is a little bit more explosive, maybe than Notre Dame's, especially when Trey Harris is healthy. I mean, he is a big part of that, though, when you're talking about who are the best teams. Notre Dame's defense is punishing them. They are absolutely punishing. They have depth. You've seen what Ole Miss has tried to do as far as building up their defense. I mean, that will be a heck of a discussion right there. Resume will come into it when you're talking about those 2 teams in particular. What kind of gauntlet has Ole Miss had to run as opposed to Notre Dame? Because there are arguments that can be made for both of those teams. And we'll see what it looks like for BYU and Iowa State. We haven't covered them yet. We'll start taking a look at them just to see how this all potentially could shake out.
BYU, an undefeated team, they're coming up next. And they're going to run a play here on 4th down. Float a pass out to Parrish. And he will be brought down. A turnover on downs. So the BYU playoff predictor, courtesy of Allstate. If they were to lose their game to UCF, it would drop to 25%, but well past the Mendoza line at 61% with a win today. Right now, the AP poll would have them potentially even being a top 10 team. Who knows if they get a road win today?
Yeah, I mean, every game matters. How you win matters. The eye test matters. The committee wants to put in the best teams, the teams that they think represent the best of the best. And BYU, look, you can't argue with what they have already put on tape so far this year. They are rolling, and they're a fun team to watch. Look forward to really breaking down, again, some of these teams that we haven't covered live to really see how they all stack up.
And a timeout, it looks like, might be called from the Ole Miss sideline.
Timeout. Ole Miss. Their second. This is a 30-second timeout.
BYU is one of those teams, as you said, that you're probably still learning about, but they are right in the mix. Ranked number 13 in the Big 12 media poll, all the way to 11th in the AP poll in the country. Undefeated to start the season. Tied for their best start in the last 25 years. So they are going to be in it all the way to the end, you would think, for a Big 12 title.
No question.
And the Big 12 champion, of course, gets an automatic bid and a first-round bye, potentially, depending on how high they're ranked.
Look, I think all coaches around the country, and in particular in the SEC, would echo the fact that, look, there's going to be some teams, especially here in the Southeastern Conference, there's going to be a team or two that's probably going to get left out of this thing in some way, somehow, that's going to be really ticked off and say, look, do you see who we've had to play? Do you see the kind of gauntlet we've had to run? And it's going to spark some interesting debate, despite the fact that we now have 12 teams get in. People still aren't going to be happy.
Jackson Arnold. There's a check down. Sam Franklin gets out of bounds. Well, that's why I think, obviously, the most important college football playoff committee poll is going to be the last one.
Foul, roughing the passer, number 38 on the defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So J.J. Pegues roughs the passer. I mean, obviously, the standings that determine who's in and out of the college football playoff, that's the most important poll. To me, the second most important poll is the first one, because the first one tells you, that's the jumping off point.
Right.
That tells you what the committee thinks of all of these teams and where they're starting from, right? Because right now we only have, say, 18th for the Rebels to go off of as the AP poll.
Right.
That doesn't mean that's what the committee is going to say Ole Miss would rank, or BYU as 11th.
If they're sitting somewhere watching these games here today, I'd love to be in that room.
I mean, those are the only numbers we have to go off of right now, as another sack goes to Centarion Perkins. And the clock continues to wind down inside of 50 seconds to go. So I think that first poll is going to be a really interesting one, because that's going to provide a frame of reference for all of the polls and all of the standings that the committee will come up with after that to follow. And boy, Jackson Arnold is just paying the price. Pegues, Umamielen both get through. Under 30 seconds to go.
These are the kind of situations that Lane Kiffin knew that they would be in this year, given the kind of team that they had, and he knew he needed to beef up that pass rush. Again, it was a priority this offseason. You saw it right out of the gate, and these guys are paying dividends right now.
4 seconds to go on the incompletion for Jake Roberts.
We saw Walter Nolan leave this game, hasn't come back in. You hope he's okay and can resume the hunt with the rest of his guys out here on the field right now as far as this front seven is concerned. But right now they are about to enter into the meat of their schedule, man, where they have to really dig in. So here we go.
Yeah, the next test for Ole Miss on the road at Arkansas. That will not be easy, as Arnold will take off, and he will pad his rushing stats, but that will end the game. Well, just like Lane Kiffin said, you can't win 5 in a row to end the season unless you win the first one.
There you go.
And they just did. What a second half for the Rebels as they dominate the final 30 minutes.